Every Thursday, the scene is set in the realm of thoughts where minds are met. They're the thinkers with brains on the brink. Every Thursday, they're doing a thing with that darn kitty as the fearless lead. The fox through by her side, they plant the seed with Dorcas guiding through dungeons deep, and Grey Coupe spreads it on steep. Nemo's crush jokes like magic in the air. Depressed Hydra's expertise beyond compare. Charles manages the box office with grace, while other guests add to the lively space. In a world of thoughts where minds collide, the thinkers gather their wits as their guide. From deep contemplation to laughter's embrace, every Thursday is their special place.
Yeah.
Do.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the special place.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's.
Perfect,
Hold on.
Charles.
What did Charles do? I didn't even notice.
Just Charles things, just being a moron.
Hashtag just Charles things.
Hold on. What would I even call this banner that we're starting with here? It's basically just what's happening now. Daisy, hello. Yeah. What's going on this week? This week in
The writers of 2024 are being lazy. That's what's going on. They're using the exact same plot point over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's not this week in stupid. It's this week in It's kind of just, I don't know, I'm just tired.
This week in wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. In what? Okay, so what comes to mind? Obviously for me, the debate that I reviewed this week was Sneeko and Moist Critical. So that whole debacle comes to mind. But that was the result of something else.
Yep.
On YouTube. Some other drama.
The offspring of Dr. Disrespects and Chris Tyson. That's the draw. Yep. That's what caused that thing to originate, to appear. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know much about. I haven't gone on a deep dive into that. I just know that it's icky. And yeah, what's the TLDR on that?
I've done a little bit of digging and sorry for the sudden muting. I have random the health issues. Health. Yeah, I'm giving secret coded messages to be rescued. My throat is not very well, so suddenly I have to mute. But in regards to the Mr. Beast situation, there are 3 subcategories, which is he has some terrible friends, including Chris Tyson, who was caught not only inappropriately messaging minors, but and behaving inappropriately with minors, but also sharing pornographic content with them in the same channel. That is confirmed now. I've seen, I mean, you could say alleged, but I've seen pretty conclusive evidence that he was doing that in the same channel where he was like joking around with minors and making sexual jokes with them, while also sharing all sorts of adult entertainment material. That's the nicest word I can use for it. So that's just the 1/3 of the situation. Hey, Lucifer.
Yeah. Hi, Lucifer. Good morning to all my favorite people and Hydra. Oh, no.
Yeah, I learned recently that in Lucifer's tier list of people, I rank above S tier, apparently. So I'm just a separate category. There is all of his favorite people, and then they're just Hydra tier above S tier.
H tier.
H tier. But yeah, that is 1/3 of just the Mr. Beast troubles, because then we have the second category, which is not only an accusation of fakery but fraud. That a lot of his videos, the challenges are essentially rigged. The chances of someone actually winning are diluted by a lot of the contestants being selected thanks to employees or family members of employees
What?
are competing. Turns out the timer and rules are adjusted continuously, even mid-competition, for the results to be closer or to be completely different. And then some of the prizes are just refused to be given out or are straight up fraudulent or non-existent. This is all highly illegal, by the way, and because the game shows are not allowed to do this. In fact, whenever you do a game show, you have to have a neutral observer on set who can vouch that the sufficient neutrality is enforced and there is no bias towards any contestants, which is not only not the case, but Mr. Beast proudly often rigs the challenges. Basically, I saw one of the most blatant ones. I've actually watched the video when he just pays twice the amount of the prize money for one of the contestants to leave, because that contestant was so good at the challenge that he was causing that team to win. For everyone else on that team loses. He pays 10K to remove that guy from the competition. That is, imagine you are one of those people who showed up legitimately there in the hopes of just winning some money, and then you get fucked over like that. Or that you are in the groups of 100 quote-unquote subscribers. Turns out 50 of them are not subscribers, but family members, employers, close friends, distant friends, etc. It's not really the same. And also, apparently, a lot of the enormous giveaways that he was doing, some of the people who he claims to have lifted out of poverty or given them all of this money were already rich and living in mansions.
That's all content. Like, are there fine print to this? Because all of TikTok is, look, I walked up to a homeless guy and offered him a roll of bananas.
Yeah, but
the
problem is that the game show parts are actually illegal lawfully. Like, you cannot rig challenges this way.
But are they presenting it as content or legitimate?
They are presenting as legitimate thing that you can enter and win prizes.
To get
and
in,
not only that,
that,
they couple it together with lottery for children, basically.
Like reality television is not.
No, not reality television.
What about the rich history of reality game show television?
Right, it's the same difference. It's
yeah, but the problem is that you need to have a legit. If you advertise something as, hey, enter this contest and you can win prize money, then you have to have the legit ability to win that prize money. And it seems like that is not really the case.
Yeah, well, that's also another thing that I would.
No, the blind people are not actually blind. Most of that charity seems to have been done in good effort. It seems to have been done with money gained from gambling, children gambling, basically, gambling for kids. That turns out he also did. He had websites for it and a bunch of other merch for it that specifically targeted children with some pretty despicable shit. And then the last category, which is just exclusively the Mr. Beast games on Amazon, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Amazon.
Okay.
That they signed him for a contract, if I recall correctly. And the third category is just that apparently the conditions, especially not only for employees but contestants, there was atrocious. Like everyone over there was under an NDA, but apparently it got so bad that all of the surrounding hospitals figured out that something was wrong, because the amount of people they received with serious injuries was extremely high, and they all came from the same place. Turns out there were like 2 ambulances for 5,000 people. They didn't give them food. They didn't give them enough water. They took away their clothes and it wasn't given back. Some of them had their medication taken away for no reason, even though they needed it for like some really serious stuff they had. Some of them were abused, physically removed from the competition. There was no oversight, no referees. So if you were just some contestants were apparently just physically kicked out by some other contestants who happened to be buffer than them, and there was just no referee to say, hey, this is not allowed. Like, it's like, it apparently
it's not law.
It's a lot of things. You could still say that, maybe it's just gross ignorance. Maybe Mr. Beast was sitting in the back row, high as fuck, or shitting or whatever, or just he was completely out cold, and all of this was going on without his knowledge, it still rises to the point of malicious ignorance. And we all
Can I
know
ask
that-
you one question though?
Yes,
Was
I'm
it in the
finishing up
rule
with it.
books that like a stronger person couldn't throw someone out? Like, is it Airbud rules that
It's a rule
know,
that
unless
you
it's
have
in
a
that
fair
rule book?
chance to compete. You are given a fair chance to compete, and people weren't given a fair chance to compete and were mentally and physically fucked. Like, there were numerous attempts to settle with these people. He tried to give them $1,000. He tried to give them free therapy sessions for the trauma, etc., but it doesn't. It seems like a lot of people are not taking it. There is a lot of corroborating accounts, and again, it was actually the hospitals that really noticed the increased amount of wounded all coming in from the same place. Imagine just having such a terrible game show that all of the nearby hospitals get overloaded. But yeah, that's the TLDR of the situation. I'm done ranting. I served up the three main yikes situations.
So the yikes in this was, again, with YouTubers plus kids, not good. Let's stop that now. Okay?
Seems to be a theme in this year. Yes.
I just want to remind everybody that my initials are CP. Yet, you can check my history. There's nothing going on here.
Use the middle
Please,
initial.
you're welcome. Yes, go ahead. Chipper Clipper, this, you know what, if you feel like this isn't the place for you, absolutely, it's all
Yeah, we are discussing some pretty disturbing topics today, so feel free to leave anytime. Okay,
definitely not the place for the faint-hearted or anything.
Yes, we're going to talk about touching kids and beating up people and emotionally abusing and grooming. So potentially, not necessarily all of them confirmed, but potentially all of those topics are discussed, and not everyone wants to talk about that, so feel free. Yeah.
Well, one thing we will talk about is this: that there's a cat in Johannesburg that needs to be adopted, and then I shared it, and Canadian over here and American Rosales goes, oh, they're interested in the cat. I'm like, it's Johannesburg, so you guys going to import your kitty cat? Oh, you're leaving because you're not we're not racist. Oh, okay, well that's fine.
Sweet.
I'm just gonna, speaking of which, I've got cats that are yelling at each other.
There's race war between the
Cat
cats?
emergency.
Hey, come on, move it.
Cat race war.
I mean, they are different colors.
I love that we
So,
can
yeah,
hear the battle off screen.
Yes, it is
Sounds like Axel might be winning.
very intense.
It really lets us, the viewer, imagine the horrors going on.
Indeed.
He thinks this again.
Great
Axel,
art.
come on.
Oh no, Axel is winning.
All in one cut, too.
Wait.
There is some parkour going on over there.
Hold on. Axel, seriously. Okay.
Has anyone seen the play Noises Off?
No.
It's a farce, and this is making me think of it.
Naughty.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. How
How did your battle go?
So no, he runs and he goes up because we have these floor to ceiling cat trees, and he ran up there and just went there, and and then he wouldn't jump off it, and then eventually he jumped from basically the top tier, so that was the big jump that he did. So I had to chase him into the other room.
Olympics.
Parkour. Anyway,
We totally entertained the audience while you were gone. So,
I heard you
it
guys.
seamlessly took over. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
you
did
guys
real
had a
good
very deep intellectual conversation as I was gone.
Yes,
It's
about
okay.
the three
As we
evil
always
categories of Mr. Beast's behavior. Definitely not
Yes.
laughing about how the battle is going on off screen.
Mhm. So look, the whole reason we started with the Mr. Beast thing was because kids plus YouTubers not mix. Okay, don't do that. And then what happened was, so apparently that's why Charlie and Sneeko started speaking again. This
which
is
I
something
never
having,
thought I
like-
would see. But apparently.
They have had like a long-standing beef. Like, if you remember, like a
Mhm.
year ago, there was the whole like mag clip thing where
Yeah.
like Sneeko exposed his gun and was trying to, subtly hint that he is armed. So Charlie better
And
back
coming to
off or
visit
whatever.
Charlie, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's been long going, but Charlie did have a take kind of on his lack of covering this Mr. Beast thing and the Chris story. Apparently, Sneeko signaled that
Mhm.
he wants to get Mr. Beast
Oh,
on his show, and that's the
yes.
only reason
I
why
would
he's
like
not
to point
covering
out
it.
that he didn't cover it for exactly like 1.5 days. He covered it quicker than the Doctor Disrespect drama. But apparently that 1.5 days was enough proof that he's running away and he's gonna cover this up because he wants the Mr. Beast collapse so bad that he's gonna ignore this while he so quickly talked about Doctor Disrespect, but no, he can't touch Mr. Beast. I also would like to point out that this accusation of hypocrisy came from fucking Sneeko, of all people, the most spineless jellyfish coward with 0 principles and the most hypocritical person on the planet. The same guy who talks about, oh yeah, the age of consent should be lowered, and is a hardcore Islamist and believes that marrying kids is okay because the Prophet did it. And you should be able to have sex with
Wait, but he's
9-year-olds
not-
if they
but
are
he's not
if they
saying-
are if they are adult enough. But then he also says that all of these people grooming children is bad, and Epstein and his Highland is bad, and this Chris Eva Tyson whatever is
You
definitely
just
a
need
bad
consent
person.
from the parents. You just need
Yeah,
consent
but-
from the parents, and then it's fine. Then it's fine.
He's
Check
apparently
out Charles just hides his face. Okay. So the point is, we don't need to get exactly in that. We're not focusing on that exact thing. It's just on the actual topic, because there's 4
this
hours
is what
of
it's
that
descended
discussion,
from.
okay?
It's important to
Um,
know the origins of the thing.
So they started this off. He wanted to, because they had their previous beef, because I suppose Charlie, tell me if I'm correct here, Charlie called Sneeko out on him thinking Cuties was a good movie. Is that it?
Oh yeah, not just that. So Cuties was a movie about a lot of people argue about what it was about, but the main problem was that it sexualized real children during the movie.
Commentary on child beauty pageant culture.
And you had kids twerking and shit like that, which is not great. So it's sexual. Whatever the point of the movie was,
The French
doesn't
go
matter.
too far. I agree.
It
The French go
does-
too far, but there is something they're saying there.
Yeah, I whatever they were trying to say, they made sexual content with children. That is bad. Doesn't matter what you were trying to say. That is bad. You shouldn't do that. And Sneeko, just after basically this was at the same time when he was going on his whole red pill spiel about how men are better than women, and you should you should rule over your girlfriends, but also you should watch them get fucked by other men. Again, no, it's completely hypocritical. I don't understand, but whatever. At the same time, he came out defending Cuties as one of his favorite movies of all time.
Did you say why?
Yeah, because they have.
He's a fan of the
Well,
arts.
he actually changed his opinion. Initially, he originally said that it was so great because everyone else got clickbaited into thinking it was going to be about something else. Which again, people really didn't care what the movie was about. They cared that they sexualized the children in it. It is the deflection. What the movie was about doesn't matter. It could have been a documentary about ancient Rome for all it's worth. Sexualizing children in it is bad. And then later Sneeko changed his opinion and said that he liked it because in the end one of the characters becomes a Muslim apparently. And then he also became a kind of fake Muslim, or at least grifts on it really hard. So
because he was
also, there were some people kind of blowing up for like positive takes on Cuties at the time, like the chat pointed out.
It was good
Mr. Earl,
counterculture.
Vito was also getting pretty good traction from his Cuties take. It was controversial, so it caused people to talk.
So anyone who said that it's not horrible were
immediately was showered with views. Yeah, it was really profitable to do it.
Labeled and dismissed as PDF files and things like that, as opposed to
But yeah, they
looking at it as
managed,
some art.
but they also managed to get engagement. Like a lot of people didn't care about, oh, you're immediately going to label and dismiss me, and partially rightfully
It
so,
just
because I'm
it caused
defending
drama.
something. But
Yeah.
you could specifically just, you could know in advance that, hey, I could kind of twist or generate a take that is semi-defensive of something Cuties did, and it doesn't really matter what I say, it's gonna blow up. Doesn't matter positive, negative, I'm gonna get a lot of engagement of it. So it was a lot of people just farming, basically. There were genuine opinions, but a lot of people were farming.
And there's still child beauty pageants today. Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The world
it
has
didn't solve
improved
the
so
problem.
much.
They took a swing at it though.
Let's just keep talking about France and do nothing about America.
France,
Hey, they've moved
I
on.
feel like someone is overwhelmingly British over here, blaming the French for everything. This
Dude,
is
they
very
had a
definitely British
beheaded
behavior.
Mary Antoinette open the Olympics at the castle where she was fucking
That
beheaded.
Gojira shit was pretty
Base,
awesome.
let's go.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, the metal. Look, I enjoyed that performance. But yeah, that's another thing. That's a part of like, look, guys. Full disclosure, I almost wanted to postpone this thing because of just general psychic damage. Okay, from what's and it's weird.
You changed your mind though?
I changed. My mind.
She rolled 4 d20s of psychic damage.
I know I got healed by Charles saying, and that has the one. I'll tell you what changed my mind. Charles said, and that has what to do with us? And I was like, haha, there you go. It was Charles who changed my mind. It just it snapped. It was just like, you know what? We don't have to go down that route. We don't have to talk about those things. We can talk about some other things. So that's actually a great way to get into this.
Do
What's
I
up,
take
Congo?
credit, or do I specify that I was just kind of trying to find out what the issue was?
You can.
You have that
both.
effect on people, man.
Both.
Your clarification leads to introspection. It's a good thing.
No, I think it's you can take both. You were just trying to figure out what the actual issue is, and then when we interrogated it, it was just like, there's no real issue since he's talking shit.
Charles's stupidity caused me to look inward.
Okay. So the point is, we went on to this. Then they have this debate, and everybody loses their mind.
Debate. It's very generous to
This
call it a
conversation.
debate.
Yes.
Apparently, Sneeko advertised it and titled it a debate, which
did.
I never
He called
told Charlie, and Charlie was
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, I'm gonna chat with Sneeko."
Charlie
a little bit."
apparently didn't. Okay, so anyway, the point is, he didn't think it was even being streamed or recorded or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It
Assume that
was
you're
a
being
bit of an
recorded.
ambush.
Always. But anyway, the conversation, whatever you want to call it, they had that,
Well,
and then
It's an ambush, but Charlie was calling him out for his kind of sus takes on like cuties and the age of consent. So
that's what. Yeah.
yes and no, but Charlie definitely wasn't prepared for it. So I don't know.
Yeah, he says as much. But the thing is, they were supposed to be talking about what they were supposed to talk about. So it's not that he didn't know they were going to go over that, as in go over the age of consent debate, as if it's a debate at all. Okay, so anyway, they had that conversation, and then everybody latched on to the fact that Charlie, and I say everybody, including myself, because when I saw the clip, I was like, oh, Charles, man, when Sneeko is telling you what's what, that's a problem. Like, that is a problem.
Sneeko, of all people, who doesn't have any principles or switches them out every month and does the most blatantly hypocritical bullshit. One of the most retarded people on the entire internet, one of the most hypocritical, disgusting people, is telling you about, hey man, that's not really great, that's too far. Oh my god, what's happening?
I don't usually
what's
like
happening,
my own
Hydra?
videos. Yeah.
We're getting the most special comment of all, and we have to interrupt everything to inform everyone that because Dobermans are the best, you must smash that like button.
Yeah.
Based and true.
Great.
Yeah, I don't usually like my own videos, but I'm gonna have to like, because Dobermans.
Money background, Greg.
A dog asked
Money-
you to
oh,
do it,
yes, yeah,
you
do
can't,
that,
you
do
cannot
money.
refuse.
Come on, do it. Do the cha-ching.
You
I
have
don't
too
think
many
you heard
Funko
us.
Pop Grey Poupees. Yeah, there it is.
There you go. That's for the earlier one as well. Wee! Look at that go.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
This background was sponsored by Dobermans.
yeah. Wait. Just to make the most of it, say that again, but in solo loud.
That's right. This background was sponsored solely by Dobermans. They're the best. And because they're the best, please smash that like button on behalf of Dobermans. Thank you.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah, so going back into the origin story of why I changed my mind, because we have to spend 25 minutes talking about why we chose this topic. So Charlie was presented with some evidence that actually should make him stop and think, that's kind of interesting. Or maybe he doesn't, but the point is he doubled down. He had his own arguments, but the point is the internet went wild because a reasonable guy who is not Sneeko got owned in a debate, and that was it. Then extra stuff to talk about is, yes, then people said he quit some podcast, and that they said, okay, no, that everybody decided he's quitting the whole internet.
Yes.
Indefinite
When Kitty says everybody, you have to understand. I looked it up. There were like so many different news sources, not just commentary and YouTube channels, from big to small, but legitimate news articles and news sources bringing down about like Moist Critical after, I don't know, over a decade, whatever, how many years he's been on YouTube, finally retires, goes on permanent hiatus after humiliating performance against Red Pill YouTuber Sneeko or whatever. And it's like, Sneeko isn't even a YouTuber anymore and whatever. Like there is a bunch of things wrong with the article, but then again, the core fundamental issue, where did they get that information from? Nowhere, apparently. All Moist Critical did was cut off some projects, and then they made up the fact that he's leaving the internet, apparently.
We did leave out something that Sparkles is pointing out. People were connecting a couple of dots, but after the debate, Charlie was getting roasted, so he did a follow-up video, like clarifying his position, and then he hadn't posted anything for a minute. And then the next thing was his podcast posted that he had left it. So people kind of assumed like he backtracked, he was getting a whole bunch of hate, and then all of a sudden he left this podcast. So now he's left the internet, which really, I don't know why they connected those dots, but they did. So I don't know, that Samuel Clemens quote comes to mind, like the reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. So he had to come out with a video this morning saying, no, I haven't left the internet. I'm just leaving that podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great video. I watched it. It was quite entertaining, just especially the intro, where it's just like, hey guys, the way he also very clever. The way he said the most critical situation is crazy. It was very cool. I enjoyed that.
A little bit of self-parody.
Yeah. So and then also he focused on what actually people should lose their minds about, which is what Sneeko was trying to say. The fact that somebody can say
Sneeko's enormous self-report, by the way, which we shouldn't ignore.
Yeah. If somebody says, I don't believe in the age of consent,
holy fuck.
There are big problems. That's what should go viral. But I understand that reason that didn't go is because everyone knows. It's not new. It's Sneeko. Okay?
Sneeko is unhinged. Everyone knows Sneeko is fucking unhinged. And everyone can list off at least 5 different insanely stupid things that he said or done that causes them to view him as unhinged. So yeah, that's why he's like he's been already categorized by the internet, so they're not going to go wild. I'm like, oh my god, Sneeko says another crazy, batshit, insane, stupid sentence for the 400th time. It's like, Moist Critical actually doesn't have a good counter argument. Oh my god, what is happening?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to lose their mind about it. Like, how can you not have a good counter argument against this insane, batshit, crazy guy? That's going to be what the internet focuses on at that point.
They everyone's just so mad at him, and I enjoyed what in his video he was just like, guys, I'm just here having an opinion. And
Yeah, but he didn't
and the
have a
thing is,
good enough
because you
opinion
have,
for the internet.
because you have that huge following, you are expected to have a certain, it's weird. Anyway, we don't need to. We can do that, and we can talk about internet fame. We'll do a think on internet fame at some point. But what I actually before he released that video saying I'm not quitting, but I am gonna. He did say he's going to pursue more. He is over drama. I think now that he's been on the side of it, the other side.
All of a
maybe
sudden
he's
now it's like,
yeah.
oh, even though
And
previously he made his career, or not made his career, but the last year of his career was basically surfing on different drama moments.
Yeah, but also Sneako's audience is not fun, and they went into his.
It's a red pill audience. They are generally not fun, but Sneako's audience is also infused with some of the crazy Muslims or the Vatniks and some other batshit insane people. So it's like one of the most unhinged audiences you can cultivate as a person. Yeah, I would think having a run-in with them would cause you to reconsider a couple of things. Also, just generally that conversation, Mark Twain was right. Sneako dragged Charlie down to his level and then beat him with experience. So yeah, that's basically what happened.
But yeah, this got me thinking about because the fact is he didn't react in the best, because I didn't see the apology thing, but people were talking about him backtracking, and then I hear this he's quitting the internet, which I was like, that is not a good thing. Because what you suffer this loss or whatever, and then yes, I understand harassment can make a person stop, but it just didn't seem like something that Charlie would do. So that's what got me thinking about it. And then he actually landed up being stronger than I thought he was. So that's cool. And he's not leaving. But that got me thinking, what do you do when you do change your mind? What if you are presented with something that changes your mind? What is the mechanism of changing your mind? And one of the things that we just in our previous discussions, just about talking about the topic, what was said was, people don't actually easily change their minds. Charles was laughing at me because I said the point of debate is changing minds, and he's like, no, because
it happens.
Because it
I mean, in
isn't.
theory,
The platonic idea would be that, yes.
Yeah.
That's what you tell children when it's all nice and rosy. Like, oh
When you
yeah, we
first
get to come
introduce them.
together.
Yes, and we discussed
by the end of it,
things.
everyone just agrees on the best idea.
Exactly, and that's what happens. And no, we know that's what cognitive dissonance is. We do things to keep equilibrium. We want things the way that we believe they are, and if evidence comes against it, it's going to be very difficult to change it. But then again, we do. Yeah.
No, Finn, you finish.
But we do change. One thing that Greg said was, I haven't changed that much, which, yeah, true. But people do change their minds. Let's not pretend that never happens. It's not that we're born with yeah?
Meaningful change of deeply held beliefs and values happens incrementally and over time based off of various factors.
Yeah,
but I was actually saying the opposite of that. Like there's like 2, maybe 3 things in my life that I can think of that I haven't changed over time. So I don't know. I think I've just changed a lot of things.
Yeah, of course. There's things that there's degrees of changing your mind.
Depends
you
on
change
what.
your mind
like
over what you want for dinner. And
the important distinction. I was about to say, I change my mind all the time, Lucy. It's important to say about what? About what you want for dinner, or like fundamental parts of our worldview. Like there is an in between. There's a massive spectrum. We need to nail it down. Otherwise, we're talking about nothing.
Fundamental parts of my worldview. I don't know. Like I guess it would depend on what time you're going back till, but I don't know if you're going back to like high school or like early adulthood. Like, hell yeah, I think like almost everything except for like 2, maybe 3 main things have changed. So I don't know. I think they're deep universal changes. So I'm all for change. But
yeah. And this sorry, Charles. Yeah.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, like, this thing about the around, like, Sparkles is talking about that kind of thing of age seems to change people to be more conservative or whatever. things like that, that your political views or whatever, your views of the world, and as Congo said here, people on static perspectives and context change over time. So that changes you. But what were you going to say, Charles?
To whoever is so invested in why we never talk about the Phantom Initiative, this time last year is around the last time I was there, and
you weren't the only one changed by that experience, Charles.
Right.
We all were.
Being a part of that week in, week out, just hearing the same 4 or 5 names over and over again, I started to feel like, okay, this is no different. This is just the same shit in the mirror. It's just the same but different. So took a while. It took me realizing Gray and Patrick, something that they were discussing that had nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with anything. It was just mental health and finding good in something. I was like, holy shit, the enemy says things that I agree with. What do I do?
Oh.
It's not a. Are you? Wait. Are you telling me that it's not just our beautiful, amazing, perfect in group and the other big blob of the evil guys? Are you saying that there are other things outside of those 2 categories? Oh, mind blown! Wow, what a radical fucking concept, dude.
That and like the fact that we can disagree and still be okay, like is
perfect. Absolutely.
Wow,
amazing.
what a concept. I
But
respect you as a human, but I disagree with you on this point. Period.
That's crazy.
An actual adult behavior. Holy fuck.
There are things obviously that happens, that there are those fundamental things that I think people like. If you guys really like, if someone started really having proper racist takes and really just absolutely, but I would not want to be around you anymore. Like, as much as I could agree with you on other things, that seems like really a fundamental, like, like, that's stupid. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't find.
Sure.
Also, if that's all you talk about as well, I'm going to find nothing to relate to you on. So there are those things that make an in-group and an out-group, of course. But the thing is, what Charles did is he noticed something about the out-group and noticed that, okay, the out-group is not all bad. It's just they're an out-group when we look at this over here. And then the tribalism, you stepped out of the tribalism and pointed out our tribalism as well.
But me and Patrick were doing that too. We were totally in our own tribe, and we were just labeling Charles the exact same as the rest of those guys. And it's like, well, they believe it, so Charles believes it. So I'm attacking Charles on that same ground.
Exactly.
And like Charles actually took the step forward and, kind of messaged us first. He was much better than us. We had just made a tier list and put him at the very worst. So, I can understand why, he was the bigger man there. But I don't know. It was awesome. It opened up our eyes as well. And then we saw, like, hey, what the hell? Like, we were looking at this very close-mindedly.
Humanity.
We were assuming they're all the same. Yeah, but that tribalism, we thought that we were... above that, and we were mocking them for it, and we were doing the exact same thing. So I don't know. We definitely changed our minds on that, but that seems like kind of a recent big one.
It was weird that people that would have, well, I don't know. I don't know. This time last year, I probably would have said that they would have defended me for anything, but it was very much not the case last October. It was kind of sobering.
Yeah, wasn't it that, like, the fact that you didn't outright completely just cancel off and absolutely hate everything that Gray and Patrick, and we were part of it as well.
Something like that, sure.
Because you weren't immediately rabid against it or continuously. It was like, you are now not pure enough. You are not right.
And so, a lot of personal stuff was outed about me. That stuff that had nothing to do with anything Phantom Initiative related, and that person can fucking burn in hell for all I care.
So you see that's not just a disagreement. That's an actual moral.
That's spite.
You feel
that's scumbag.
That's I don't want to associate with you because you are not you're not good. You're not good in my life. I don't need you in my life. I don't want you in my life. That's it. That's not disagreement.
Betray your thirst, drink Sprite.
Bad influences in your life, and the ability to go against them is really useful. And to never really be afraid to, like, take a step back and look or reevaluate any of the things that you maybe just gotten used to or aren't used to think about, like take new perspectives into account, and don't be afraid to look around of like, is this really the optimal way I want to engage with things? It's never really settle into a very static consideration of something, because it may eventually reach the point of where you just thought that something was okay, but it turns out it's not actually good for your mental or physical health, or hasn't been for a little bit, for a while, and just never reevaluated it. Like, it's the way things change constantly, and you should be willing and able to monitor that change or take a look at it again to
I forgot which layout.
to update your view or your feelings on the topic. I don't know how to properly phrase it,
It's my perception that you can say anything about someone and not really know them. But the inverse is to say something that you know very well about someone that is not them is
quite a choice.
You're showing who you are. Right.
So wait, are you saying mischaracterizing someone you know? Or actually,
back to the whole situation with Gray. They said things that was just, the tennis game that is, oh yeah, well, you're this, I'm that. And my team did things that were definitely not part of the rules. And, they know that was going to bother me, where Gray didn't know anything about me. He was more receptive to who I was, the human, than my side was. And the fact that I was like, actually, this isn't that bad a take. There's some things to listen to here that turned into a thing. So yeah.
You didn't label and dismiss. Yeah.
Right. Because I was like, hey, what about this thing? A certain somebody or two were like, oh, well, if you're going to go with them, fuck you. And it was just like, dude, okay.
What is this, high school?
Yeah. Thanks for showing your colors. Cool. But there is a problem with tribalism where it's just, you gotta.
That's the internet as well.
You need a memento mori every now and again. Just fucking wake up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I don't. Sorry, that's what we have you here for, and also you have an awesome name. Your name is Charles.
I'm fitting this week.
That is why that's why we had to do today's show. It's just so that I could ape together strong. Oh, we watched that. Anyway, okay, so look, I did ask the panelists for examples, and I did say yes, big examples where it was like a kind of, it seemed like an ideological change, but it's not an ideological change. It's just, and I said also, if you change your mind about a person, Fandom Initiative versus us versus Charles versus the whole drama, that whole thing. But yeah, also just anything. Actually, it's important to understand why certain things are easy to change your mind about and certain things are not. Like we spoke about changing what you want for dinner, because that's kind of inconsequential. It's not a long-term change. Maybe if you're choosing to eat something that will put you into anaphylactic shock, that's a big change. But like in terms of just quick, mundane choices, that can still inform us on these things. But kind of big changes. I'll give my example, and then I'll go to Dorcas and the rest. Mine was actually, I used to be, I was former TDS. I was properly, rabidly against Trump in a way that I could not stand him. Like I could not look at him. I was properly scared and angry at, and this is me, a South African. Who gives a shit about what the
I'm
South African
so glad that you actually explained what you mean by TDS, because that's one of those words that has unfortunately lost its meaning completely, because it's been just used as the opposite of all of the isms of, oh, you have this position or don't like that, that's racist, that's sexist, that's transphobic, that's whatever. And it has, this same word has been used, oh, you don't like one thing that Trump did, oh, there you have TDS. Oh, you don't like the other thing that he said, oh, you have TDS. Like it has become another label and dismissive thing. This is why I'm so glad that you gave your definition about what you think it is, or why you say, I'm so fucking glad.
No, that's what I
Appreciation,
mean.
okay,
Yeah.
definitions for statements.
Definition.
Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. Like TDS, and I mean it. Like, and that's why I put real TDS there, because it was like irrational, kind of over the top, and irrational in that. Look, I'm South African. Yes, the president of the United States does influence the rest of the world. People care about the United States. I'm sorry, we do. You're the world power. When we were really excited when Obama was elected and things like that, it was we care, but at the same time, it's still not my country, and the effects will take some time to get to me in South Africa. But I was rabid about the guy. I hated him. I could not talk about him without getting angry as well. Like properly, that's another thing, is that I couldn't speak about him without losing my mind. I was properly frothing at the mouth.
Was it just when he entered your consciousness for some reason, like appeared on TV or someone mentioned him or you saw an image of him? Or was it like something that actively came forth from you, like your brain brought it forward in association with something else? Like which one of them
what that caused me to go TDS about it?
Yes, like was it like the X thing happened, something Americans like, well, have you known that Trump is whatever, or was it just like you saw a picture of Trump and said, oh fuck this asshole, this guy is responsible?
it was the rhetoric, but also there was the initial thing. I'm like, who the hell is Trump to decide to be a politician? Because he's a celebrity. How dare he? That's not
a new thing.
And he's so but I was like, and he's so unpresidential, and I was really offended by him stepping into, because I loved Obama, because I was like, look at this guy, he's got such class and whatever. And then this guy comes in, and I'm like, oh no. Like at first, that's another thing. He was just an idiot. He was a bumbling idiot to me, and I did not like that. That he was unpresidential. Okay, I didn't like that. And then obviously there was the grabbing by what else? Oh, then also just the normal what the left was saying about Republicans. That was another thing. I was like a normal leftist that goes, oh my gosh, Republicans are horrible. Republicans are they're crazy Christians. They hate gay people. They all of the stuff that you could put on the far right now. That was where I was at, and I was like, he is gonna ruin people's lives. And one of the things and I also thought he was such a huge liar, because I was like, this guy over here is talking about you know what he said? He said that, and this is my example. If I'm going to put it in here in terms of the example of why I changed it, there was the actual, I think there was a debate. I wrote abortion and I went debate. Okay. There was a debate, and he said something about these Democrats are trying to do abortion past 9 months. And I said, that's absolutely bullshit. There's no way. Look at this guy. Look how he's lying. How he's so horrible. How could you make such a horrible statement? That's stupid. It's not an abortion at 9 months. It's killing. And then I actually was shown evidence that there were people that were arguing for that. And that made me go, whoa. So I think that was my kind of moment. If I want to go into the mechanisms later on, because it seems like that now I've noticed what Charles had. He had a moment where he said, there's something to this. And then he said, because he saw something he agreed with. And then that made him go, wait, this is the other side. I shouldn't be agreeing with them. And that made him introspective and then reach out. There was a thing of reaching out to find out more. And then there had to be reciprocation from us to also not be tribal assholes. So
my own words are being used to benefit Trump. What is happening?
No, I'm just identifying a pattern. Okay, it's not that this is how. So that's what happened with me and changing my mind about Trump in terms of from now I can criticize him and I can say this was good. Also, so I'll put another one here. Maybe I'll move it to the mechanisms part. But one of the things as well is the right to try. I actually found out that he passed the right to try bill, and that resonated with me. So, and we'll talk about that.
What is the right
Okay.
to try bill?
The right to try bill is that it's actually like when there's terminal illnesses and things like that, and they're doing research. It kind of just expanded research. You could if you're on your last hope or whatever, you could take part. You could speed up research. You could take part in medical research to help advance science forward. Instead, like it took away some red tape.
It's interesting how retroactively his own supporters don't like that because of the whole vaccine becoming politicized, and now all of a sudden the vaccine, the anti-vax movement has switched from being like a leftist, crystal-obsessed Facebook mount thing into like a radical right Republican thing, apparently, all very rapidly for some fucking reason. And then now this achievement of Trump is being called into question because, but like I would say
because Aaron
that
Rodgers.
it's one of the most, like, I'm very much very critical of Trump, but it's one of the best things he's done. Like all of the science stuff, like the warp speeding, the vaccine, taking off more red tape so that scientists can get back into innovating stuff and saving lives. Like it's one of the best things he did actually that I liked. So it's kind of ironic that that's the one thing that his own people end up hating him for.
Hey, Jana. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, so the thing is TDS, what TDS, because it's like what's it, Sparkles is like, no, I've got to find out what TDS is. But Trump derangement syndrome is you won't even allow something like that. You won't let that go past because you can't, because you are so tribal that if I accept anything that Trump does, that means that I am a Trump supporter. And if I'm a Trump supporter, then I am MAGA. And then
that's not enough, because that would just be someone who is like, who lets their worldview. But I mean, it's kind of not just the fact that they are against everything that Trump does isn't necessarily the like, that's a thing if you're happen to be against everything that Trump did. But if you define your worldview by being against Trump, that's a sign of, a bit of an obsession, really. And again, media coverage and political climate didn't help with this. But and also from that, it's not just the ability to look, hey, you can have rational criticisms about foreign policy or presidential behavior or some of the bills he passed, or like the public rhetoric he engaged in, or like the stuff his followers did. But instead of that, you can get into this very emotional, constant obsession of like Hitler. It's going to be again like when you have this group of people who let their entire worldview on everything being defined by being against this one very specific person, that's a very bad sign. You should never allow, like, they hate this guy so much, and yet they allow him to rule them totally. It's a sign of weird obsession. Like, it's the same with the
allow in their mind.
Other figures.
It's
like,
an obsession. Yeah.
It's like a compass that always points south, You hate the guy, but he controls you so much. It's the same thing with Sneeko, actually, is a great example for this kind of behavior, where he legitimately said that if they ban something, it's because it's true. And if the government tells me to do something, I'm going to do the exact opposite because the government is evil and lying. This is a sign of an obsessed mind who defines their worldview of being against someone or something. It's not healthy. Don't do this.
So if what?
Yeah. Did you make that squeaky noise? I was like, is my brain? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh, okay. Yes. I thought it was my. I thought
it was my sinus.
I had wires and contact issues with my wiring and electrics before, so I thought it was just. Oh, God damn it! I didn't fix it, but no, it was Charles.
What's up, Jay? We're doing a thunk, but yes, Charles, go on.
So if his lack of political reputation were to be considered today instead of 2016, would it be fair to call him a DEI candidate? I'll just wait here.
I don't. Okay,
he's just famous. He's just famous. That's all
I
he
don't
was.
Yeah, it's a thing that a lot of political figures do, that you could technically consider a lot of political figures DEI, because a lot of people made their political careers of like, I'm famous or successful in X, let's get into politics.
Okay,
It
so
happens. I was an actor. I was I was a World War II general. I was a whatever. Like, it happens multiple times. People build a political career on just having clout or money or success in some other area.
so everybody's DEI. It was just
I don't see how any of that is connected to DEI.
well,
fame.
Kamala Harris is a vice president, and she's being called DEI right now.
Well, that's because of her race.
Not because she's
and her sex.
Okay,
famous.
So Trump let's pretend it's 2016 for me. He was a celebrity. What business did he have being qualified enough to be president of the most powerful country in the world?
None, just like Reagan and others who were also in celebrity and acting stuff.
Oh,
but he had precedent for it turning out better. That's the main
hold on,
issue.
guys. Lucifer is coming for J-Mac.
Oh shit! Drama in the chat. Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to read this, but yeah, make sure to smash that like button. But also, if you think that J-Mac cheats at Magic the Gathering, I don't know if it has to be exclusive. Perhaps if you disagree with Lucifer, you might show him by lightly tapping that's like button.
Yeah, you don't have to smash it, just lightly tap. Yeah, here you go. Kamala was highest. Yeah, he did say that.
So she's black now, so she's not Indian.
Oh no, yeah, she's a black.
I've seen an insane amount of argumentations over her race. Like, it was
no. I don't know if you saw the interview that he did last night. That was just like crazy. That Charles was referencing, but it is not great. But fair enough. I would have hoped that he would have had a better answer for that question.
The frothing at the mouth obsession with people's race is never a good look.
It's how the critical race theorists think, generally speaking, is they hire based off of race, based off of gender.
But Dorcas, if they're disqualified, find something about what they do rather than their fucking skin color. Holy shit. I'm sure there's tons of reasons you could say Kamala Harris is bad, but don't start with her race. Holy fuck. I can find 15 things if you give me an hour. And
we just talked about TDS. This is the same thing, but in reverse. It's the colonizing rich white men for president. This is the same thing as like, of course, the black woman who was only included because of like, it's the what about what they did? Like their actions. Because if someone says, why don't you like Trump, Hydra? I can say, well, I think these international policies and this foreign policy I didn't like. I don't like how he fucked up some diplomatic deals. I don't like how, he pulled out of this and that agreement and refused to act when X and Y happened. I don't like how, the actions themselves. I can take out the actions of the person, put them next to my principles and my viewpoints and say, here is an alignment, here is a disalignment, and not just say, they look bad or they look kind of in the other group, or I don't identify with them racially for whatever reason. Like, it's a different kind of criticism.
Hydra said it better.
The right is not. Whoops.
Oh, okay. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
I banged my knee. When the right accuses her of being a DEI hire, they are accusing the people that hired her and who support her of only liking and supporting her and hiring her because of her race, sex, gender, etc. And it's hard not to believe that when they make that the core tenet of their ideology. They have said
you are confusing the core ideology of the critical race theorists for the core ideology of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and the entirety of the Democrats. This is the equivalent of me saying that, it's hard to disagree with the dangers of Trump becoming dictator, because Project 2025 supports Trump and they want him to become, an authoritarian leader. It's like, no, that's not all of the right.
Project
They deserve to be
2025 doesn't
smeared.
have not have any power, any real power within the Conservative Party, and that's not why people are voting for Trump. Whereas
Yeah.
the Democrats have said repeatedly that they support DEI policies, that is how they view the world.
So as yesterday, Trump was at a black conference for, I believe it was newscasters. I'm pretty sure it was journalists. And he said black jobs while at a black journalism event. What the fuck are black jobs?
What's black journalism?
It's people who are black who are journalists.
I was hoping for a better answer to that too. Like, you could be charitable with his actual answer of like, because he said like it's any job, but he should have said like it's any job held by a black person.
But this DEI, like all of this shit is politics, just proper, because on election day they do all of this shit, separating people: educated white men, non-educated, non-college degree women, women of color who didn't go to school and actually bark on Wednesdays. Like they just decipher everything, these little groups, and it's politics. Like they come up with these stats for things that have nothing to do with anything. Like, yeah, I am a white guy who fucking goes to church on Saturday. Also, I identify as black on Wednesday, so this is how I voted. Here, put that stat up there.
Saturday? Okay, so that's what I got.
Yeah, I apologize for my outburst.
Listen, I just want to tie this all up neatly into a little bud before.
Better be the last one.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God, I'm terrified. I was pointed at with a fucking
this.
kazoo or whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's the most terrific super weapon in the hands of the queen of cats. Anyway, so my problem is just, I think, Dorcas, the disagreement is that the majority of accusations and criticisms towards Kamala Harris were originating based on her race and sex, not because of her actions and her endorsement of DEI. I did not see like tweets, comments, and videos saying about how she is being hypocritical for this and that, or her action of this and that was despicable. Instead, I've seen a flood of videos, messages, news articles, and tweets about how she is terrible because it's a black woman who is pretending to be black because she's Indian, but she's pretending to be Indian because she's black, and she's actually not either, and she's secretly pretending to be both of them, but is not any of them. And not because of how she did DEI. That would be fine. You should critique the action, not the person's inalienable characteristics. That was my issue, basically. Sorry, that's it.
Okay, we are done. Because remember,
but you're saying that you changed your mind on it?
Whoa!
Oh my God!
Don't me check the song.
Oh God!
And thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, J-Mac. Hydra, I disagree.
Well, yeah, we needed a new. Yeah, sorry.
Go on. Hydra, I disagree. Mainstream DNC have adopted CRT positions and have for a long time. That's very accurate. This was happening during Obama's second term, using racial talking points overtly. Also very true. Trump has distanced from Project 25.
True.
Also true. Whereas Democrats have not distanced from CRT, happily embracing it.
True.
Very
This is
true.
correct, J-Mac, but this is not something I disagree with. So I don't know why you said Hydra disagree.
You gave $100 to shut up.
At the start, because I agree with all of this. Again, the whole project.
It sounds like you've changed your mind then, Hydra.
On what? On which part did I change my mind in this specific
The
one?
only reason
It sounds like all of it if you agree now.
No, I don't. Stop trolling, Gray. Fucking hell.
I mean,
Okay.
Biden,
Again, critique the action, critique them adopting CRT, and critique CRT and what
they
doing.
are though.
They
When they say she's a DEI hire, they are saying
what they're
you
doing.
picked her because you care only about her race and her gender and her sex rather than any of her actual accomplishments. And the fact that she is not popular, that she doesn't have great experience, I think, speaks specifically to that. I'm sure that there are many more Democrats, eminently more qualified, regardless of their sex, gender, race, whatever, and yet they chose Kamala.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm okay with that kind of criticism. I'm not okay with the kind of criticism focused on inalienable characteristics. I like the kind of criticism.
Is it okay? Would it be okay? I mean, it's the Hillary Clinton thing, suddenly having a Southern accent whenever she goes to the South. So, like, is it okay for politicians to accentuate parts of their characteristics in different? What's the face? Kid
Are you trying to say that Trump doesn't do that? Because he really does.
But politicians do that.
I'm sure he does, but with
You've heard of Southern Trump?
Southern
No, I've like just yesterday he was.
We are getting derailed. We are getting derailed. It's not a good thing. We can
Yeah,
just
I'm
agree that it's
gonna
not
tap
nice.
the
Okay?
sign. Just hold on.
AOC.
True.
Okay, yeah. I'm tapping the sign, guys. Okay.
The
There.
topic. Oh God.
Okay. So
Ben
remember
Hammer
the
is
topic-
now
the
floating
topic-
in Kitty's hand. Okay, everyone be
The
careful.
topic. Yeah, listen. The only reason this is not getting blown is because Daisy is looking at me like you dare. Okay. So the next we'll have penalties with the kalimba,
You need a thingy.
the gavel,
Well, all right.
or a soundboard,
Yeah, soundboard.
so that Daisy doesn't have to be upset. Nobody has to be beep or whatever. Yeah, my soundboard. I did try and make that work, but anyway, we can do that. Also, thanks again for the super chat, JMac. But what we are talking about is changing our minds.
One of these guys.
Evil Charles?
Evil Charles.
What?
I need to get. I think I might need to get a
He went
new
super rich.
capture card first.
It's all that Trump talk.
Ooh, that's
But
a
also-
powerful
so-
picture.
so the-
Tomo is that's
Mhm.
someone needs to make a horror game about like that, where like politicians chase you or in your nightmares or something. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and hearing.
Oh my
Kamala.
gosh!
It's
Congo
you
Chris.
need someone needs to make an indie horror game where all of the monsters are like
Guys,
politicians. It needs
you
to
got-
happen.
Chris, what about if you had Zuma's laugh in what's it? You wake up in the middle of the night with Zuma's laugh. Jacob Zuma, former president of South Africa, he also had this and it's just if you had that echoing in the background, it'd be very scary. Okay, anyway, the reason that we got onto this, by the way, people that came in while we were all TDSing.
Can I just get it? Like it's funny that a lot of people here identify as centrists, but this is awfully pro-Trump. I'm just trying to get a read of the room here.
That's the
I
thing.
don't
a
know
lot
No,
of
no, I'm
if
talking
Sanders
about the chat.
pro-Trump.
Oh,
Mhm.
I thought you meant the panel. I was like,
Oh, sure.
we
Yeah,
haven't
Yeah,
waited yet.
I'm rather pro-Trump, I think.
Like
compared to most
if it's
people.
trolling, okay, I can't read tone, but there's
Mhm.
just a heavy.
I think
Stand.
if you're part of the centrists, see again because there's no like proper I hate Trump going on, then
And
people assume
I love
that you
Trump or
support.
coronate Donald Trump
Yes.
Jr. We don't have the extremes that much, you know.
Yeah, but there is that thing of if you're pro-Trump, that means that you absolutely love everything he says. You're for him, and also if you don't hate him, then somehow you're pro him. That's what I was trying to describe is that I'm no longer that person. I'm okay with saying Trump did something good, and I'm okay with saying Trump did something bad. I don't have to go all in and be all crazy MAGA, because there are those people that just he can do nothing wrong, that's stupid. But yeah, the fact is I changed my mind on Trump. I went from TDS to, I suppose, and I was actually wondering, one of the reasons that we were talking about this is what changed my mind. And considering around that time, I also was watching Adam stream a lot. So maybe it was Adam, which is weird because Adam is also not this crazy right-wing person that you would expect.
J-Mac with the incredibly placed comment in the chat. Everyone check it out.
fuck Trump, fuck Biden, fuck the Democrats, and fuck the Republicans. Okay, get a different voice. It's great.
That's right.
Oh my god,
Team
isn't
brainworm.
It's so
That's
weird,
it.
man.
Get
fucking-
that guy
yeah.
some hospital care. He literally has brain
No,
rot, actual brain rot, and a worm in his brain. That's not healthy.
It's a genetic thing. You see all the Kennedys have going on. It's weird. Anyway, so the point that we're doing, the reason we're doing this thing, and remember, we are going to just by the way, it's gonna be a shorter thing, because some of us need to have a little bit of rest because we have a stream coming up. I want to go through examples. So my example obviously caused some shit because I brought up Trump. I was a bit stupid. I should have just my other example guys, was I was very much against sushi. Okay, I never ate fish. Okay, I did not like fish at all, and then I had sushi, and sushi is my favorite food. So it's not that I hate fish, I never eat fish, to sushi's my favorite food. Okay, so that's a mind change. We could have done that one, but
No. Don't take the credit I gave away. I apologize for my outburst. We should have civil conversations. It's my fault that it got heated. I apologize.
It got heated because we're all passionate, and I love that.
And Cameron said something, and like I said, his
Cameron's
policies. Well, no, Cameron was talking about. I'm too hard on him. My wife is in England due to his policies, so I'm especially hard on him.
Personally, he's
Right.
personally, yeah. So we're not here to change minds about Trump, but you know what? Also, that stream demonetized. So just by the way, yeah. So maybe we shouldn't talk about Trump. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so point is, that was my example, and you know what? I'll put into the diagram, although I won't show the diagram because Sparkles will have a problem because this is not a chart. Sushi. So I'm gonna put the sushi. I changed my mind on sushi. So Dorcas, do you have an example of a mind change?
Times I have changed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose I can say I have one of a political nature and one of a personal nature. The political one, I used to be pro the death penalty.
Okay.
I did and still do believe that there are things that a person can do that would sacrifice their right to life, such as killing of another person, premeditated, all that. But you hear stories about people being freed from death row because new evidence came to light however many years later. I don't trust the government to be able to get it right 100% of the time. So I think, if you're going to allow for the government to take someone's life in that way, you have to be able to do it 100% of the time. And since you can't, it's better to be against the death penalty.
That's pretty fair.
So hearing that argument
Yeah.
convinced me to change my mind.
So it was. Can you pinpoint there was an argument in which you had that and you changed your mind that day? That was it, or do you just know that was the argument that convinced you?
I just know that was the argument that convinced me. Now, I will say that death penalty was never my highest moral position that I ever took. So it was probably easier to change that opinion than something that I would care more about. But I vaguely remember just hearing that argument and thinking, yeah, that makes sense. And I don't feel necessarily as if I meaningfully changed my moral position on the matter. As I said, I still believe that there are things you can do that could make it okay. It's just that my standard for implementing it just is too impossibly high, if that makes sense. For a more
that's a good example though, because it's actually it's a change that ideologically captured people. It's something that ideology can definitely hold, and then you can change. And it would make sense if if you were on death row, you would have your opinion on the death penalty would be a lot more personal.
Naturally, yes.
Yeah. So, but the point is, I do like that as an example, and that you can identify the argument that changed it. At least that you know the argument, you know why. You inhabited that argument. You took that and said that's a good argument, and you agreed with it, and then you stuck with it. So it changed your mind. But you can't really identify a time that this happened. It's not like there was and everything opened up, and that was the moment. At least you can't identify that. I know with the sushi I can identify the day, obviously, but
you remember the smell? I'm sorry, don't answer that.
I don't have a sense of smell. Pro knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats!
So,
joke turned into a tidbit.
so
He's made out of marble.
there you go. The lore. Gothic phone later on, guys.
And then the more personal thing is I had two main choices for college. I preferred one over the other. I went on a tour of both, and I ended up deciding to go with my second choice rather than my first choice. After experiencing both environments in person.
Okay. So you had that was a mechanism. We're going to go into mechanisms, but you had extra information. I actually will add to mine as well, college majors, just because you did that. In varsity, I was registered for a Bachelor of Science, and I was going to do programming and psychology. And I then changed to linguistics. I changed to BA. I went to the arts. I went to go all fuzzy. Instead of that, and that's a big life-changing thing. Like I changed my career because of that. So interesting. There's a mechanism there. Okay, so we have Charles. Do you have another one? Oh,
love them.
Oh God! It's everyone pause. Important question incoming.
I don't know.
How does everyone feel about chopsticks? I hear they prevent Alzheimer's. Therefore, I support.
What?
Yeah, it's the superior way to eat Cheetos. You gotta use the chopstick.
You hear that? You hear that, Sitch?
I think there might be some truth to they require more like hand-eye coordination to use than other things.
I mean, let's face it, a spoon is basic.
So I guess they could help with pushing back the timeline if you were to develop Alzheimer, just like doing a daily crossword puzzle, for example. So I guess that may be where that kind of belief originates from. I have no idea if that's true or not. But they are cool. They have a niche. I don't use them. I don't think well, we moved on to Hydro Trivia from Dorcas Trivia. I have a hand tremble issue that doesn't allow me to use chopsticks. So I can't really have share my personal experiences with them.
Okay.
But you're cool.
So yeah, but you're not spiritually against them, like Sitch.
Are you anti-chopsticks?
No. I'm completely neutral. I think they are cool and they have their place in cuisine. That's my position.
Yeah. And also, you know what? Speaking like the way Bimo also said he uses chopsticks. Also, nice to see you in chat there. I hope you're nice and cozy in bed.
Oof, that was personal.
I don't want him. I want him to chill. Also, we're not going as long today, so please. But he cooks with chopsticks, and I've seen many a video that makes me want to cook with chopsticks, like the long ones. I've seen my friends they use them, and also one of the videos I've seen is like basically a Westerner doing all the cooking and all the different utensils and bowls and shit that they have to use, and then there is a video of the same dish being made but with chopsticks being like the only utensil you use. So it's and you're like, I was like, yes, I should have saved it and spammed Sitch with it. But yeah, that's there it is. Thank you for I actually think I changed my mind on chopsticks when I learned to use them, and I'm not that good at it. It's just that I learned to use them, and therefore, yeah, I can see them being superior.
Slug gets it though. it is the
Dorcas?
superior way to eat Cheetos or Doritos. You know, any
Cheetos.
sort of dusty
Yes. It's
snack
yes.
material.
Yeah.
I think they're great. 10 out of 10 would use again.
Charles?
Huh?
Are
Are
you a
you pro
sticker?
chopsticks?
I'm agnostic.
Okay.
Wow. You're not
Gray?
sure if chopsticks exist?
He doesn't
Nothing
believe
that don't
anyone can
exist.
have real
You're
credible
undecided.
information on the nature of chopsticks.
Oh, I'm team chopsticks all the way. I've got like so many sets. I've got some lovely wooden ones. I've got some metal ones. They're great.
Does this
Chopsticks
mean
all
like
the way.
Does this mean like 3 of us are 18? Because
Possibly.
yeah. Who know? Anyway.
A class is the
agnostic.
best
Oh,
team.
how did we not notice? Come on, Charles.
Oh,
That's a
that was
weakness.
a missed opportunity. Yeah, massive
I
missed
can
opportunity.
understand. Like,
That's very funny.
I love. Oh, here's a.
Oh, what
fine.
the hell?
Okay, who wants? Hydra can read this one.
I find the older I get, the less likely I am to change my mind, but I'm more open to hearing opposing arguments. When I was younger, my opinions were much more flippant, but my willingness to engage the opposition was lower. If you had to choose between those two, I would definitely suggest the former rather than the latter, because opening up yourself to the possible opposing arguments can never really hurt you in the long run. And not being willing to engage with the opposition and also being flippant or fickle is a terrible combination. So I'm glad that that's the direction your situation has evolved in JMac, because I definitely think that that's the way more people should move in.
I think that's
Thanks, Jacob.
kind of what I'm getting at too. When I was saying like I've kind of changed everything. I don't know that I had necessarily a backing before, but yeah, I feel like I do now.
You
I
are
think
backed
said it
by
a
the
little bit
money
more
printer
eloquently than
these
I was.
days, Gray.
I mean,
but
the money
no,
presses though.
Yeah, the money press. There you go. But Gray. So as Jay said, are you saying that you as well? You're less likely to change your mind, but that doesn't mean that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Recently, I mean, I would
Gray's
say
not sure
yes.
if he could change his mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm agnostic about it. No, I think I have more backing my positions now, so I think I am in a more grounded position than I was before. But I don't know. I would like to think I'm open to changing my mind, especially when I'm wrong. Again, the whole thing with Charles and the initiative like a year ago, like I was totally wrong on that, and I was stuck
That's
in
kind of
tribalism, and I didn't-
that's a big proof of that
And
being the case.
and listen,
in your mind.
Gray's series was called "I Could Be Wrong."
yeah,
You know, like he comes from the position of I could be wrong, but this is my position. So tell me how I might be wrong. That's one of his phrases that he uses. Is I could be wrong.
Actually, his "Just Be Honest" thing, I was like, all right, well, it's titled "Just Be Honest," and I sent him an email where I was just pretty candid about things.
yeah.
So Charles,
Huh?
what else have you changed your mind on?
Oh, I change my mind all the time. The more I live, the more I think everybody's full of shit.
Yes. So you
Unfortunately.
Okay, so talking about so we had a college for Dorcas. Charles, is there anything else? We had the fandom initiative. That's the biggest one because it's the closest to what we're talking about, which is kind of political, changing your mind.
Now I don't want to hear about
drama.
us not talking about it ever again.
Yeah, definitely. We had to think on it. Kind of. So is there anything else you want to add to your list? Even though I won't show the freaking list.
I don't know. I'm sure if you challenge me on something, I could find I'm unsure of myself as I speak, so I'm constantly changing my mind. Mid-sentence, I change my mind. So
no, but like
that's where my stammer comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you literally changed. My mind changed like that before the stream. So you know, I'm way worse than you.
About whether or not you should have the stream. That's what you're going to change about.
So Gray, what would your mind changing? Do you have an example? And again, remember, sushi is an example.
I think literally almost everything. Like there's probably like 2 or 3 tentpole things that have never changed. Like I don't know, my sexual orientation, for instance, like that's never changed really. Apparently I'm vanilla, maybe French vanilla. I don't know, but almost everything else in my life has. Like in high school, I was very close-minded as to like what music I'd listen to. I was really gatekeepery. I was in like a punk band. I thought like, no, everything is punk. And I don't know. It took like being in like a band that was signed and then like really failed hard. And I don't know. Then I went to like music school and I had to learn how to like record music, and I got an appreciation for like every type of music that's out there, and just audio like in its self. And it just like opened me up to like a whole new world. But there's so many other things like morality has pretty much changed. Like I used to think that we could kind of like choose our morality. Now I'm way more into like the moral intuitions theory. Lifestyle. I just back in high school, I thought I was going to be a degenerate like couch surfer, like I was going to be a musician, but I was predestined to never make money and just be a scumbag. Yeah, now I own a house. It's different. Things definitely change. Like career, I thought for sure I was gonna be. Oh, thank you. It's a tiny house, a bungalow. But yeah, like I thought I was gonna be like a musician loser, and then I got this corporate job, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then yeah, through a series of events, I no longer work for that place and got a bit of a severance thing when they got bought out by another company. But I was supposed to have retirement, and it all kind of went away because they never actually went public, and so they sold to another company. So that sucked. Like I feel like I had already changed my mindset. Like I'm gonna do this. I've committed to like 5 years of this place, and then I can retire and I'm good. And then that all just like went up in smoke. So I don't know. Now I've kind of got what I'm doing now, which is something completely different, and I'm totally cool with it. Like I don't know, I'm probably the most at peace with what I'm doing now. But like every aspect, I would say like politics, like I used to be way more libertarian, and now I think I've gone like way more liberal. Like I do think there are certain things that I don't know there's a mechanism to pick up the slack if we were to kind of like cut people off of some things. And I don't know, I guess it took kind of like experiencing some of that to understand, like especially when I had some mental health issues. So I got super depressed. Sorry, dog's barking. Hopefully it's not too loud.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a slide for that. There
It's
we
okay,
go.
it's not bad. You can hear.
Okay. But yeah, like my mental health, like I got into a super bad depression, and I had just kind of like parted ways with that job, so I didn't technically have insurance. And my God, it was so expensive and so hard to get like any sort of help for that. I don't know what you're supposed to do with mental health, but it just feels like there is something that is a public service that should be done in that way. But through my sorry, they are not stopping barking. But yeah, I just had like a horrible self-talk. I was super depressed, super down on myself. And a lot of that came from cognitive distortions. And a lot of that is just understanding, hey, I'm totally wrong about this. Like I wouldn't talk to anybody else the same way. I'm not being fair. I'm filtering comments. I'm sorry. Maybe I should
No, it's okay. Please continue. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Okay. I just assumed you could hear them barking way
We
too
can
much.
hear them, but they're not overpowering. We can hear you. It's cute, actually.
But like
crickets.
Almost any cognitive distortion that you could have, I had, and I was just being so like horrible to myself. And I realized like by understanding that these were a thing and that I was doing that, it really helped me get to a better place. And then yeah, like as far as like politics too, I thought it would be funny to vote for Kanye, and I don't know. I don't think I can give away a vote like that anymore.
Age like milk, age like fine milk.
Did, and I feel horrible about it. But
so
you
wait,
know, I'm here now. So even if I'm going to throw my vote away, I still need to kind of research a candidate. I thought, you know, some of his tracks bump. This would be funny. I feel horrible about it now. Yeah, but like my sense of humor, I used to be so much more of a gatekeeper in comedy, say like what is funny, what isn't. I've grown so much more of appreciation for like everything that's out there. Like, I don't know. It's not my place to say like Gallagher isn't funny. There's some really clever bits that he has. Yes, he's a prop comic. Even Carrot Top, like there's some really clever shit going on there. It's not for me, but I don't know. It is funny. I think saying like that's not a joke or that's not funny is a very bad thing that I was super participating in. Yeah, objectively, I was saying that.
Not for me.
My take on almost all media has been wrong. Like, I don't know. I enjoy things a lot more once I'm able to kind of look into them a little bit deeper. My expectation on a bunch of shows has really changed, but almost every Yorgos Lanthimos movie I see, I hate it at first. It is like one of the hardest things for me to deal with, and then I don't know. After time, it kind of makes sense. I don't know. I feel like my media takes they're interesting, but I've changed my mind on a whole lot of things. Like I assumed I was going to hate Velma. I went into it hating it, and I ended up not hating it. Velma. And then The Boys, I didn't want to watch it. I thought it would be horrible. I really got into it, and then the second season came around, and I was like, this is horrible. I don't like this. So I stopped watching it, and then I had to go through all of them really quickly in like 2 days for this podcast I was on, and I got super into it again. I don't know. I feel like my takes on certain things have changed. TLJ, I hated that movie so much, and I was like, this is not my Luke. And then I was able to kind of divorce myself from it for many years, and I don't hate the movie. It makes way more sense than I gave it. It is not the worst Star Wars movie or show out there. Animation. I used to hate animation. I thought it was like kids stuff. Now I see how many layers it can be and how it can be so much deeper than you could ever get with film, and that film is trying to ape what you could do with animation. I think I've had a lot of takes that have changed. I think like almost everything about me has changed. So I don't know. I'm not sure how you'd write that down.
No, I've listed quite a lot of them. And what I want to ask is, okay, so in these cases, like with animation, it's just because it's recency. You saying you found it looks like a lot more of appreciation. You find more appreciation. So it was through experience. We'll go into it harder, but I just want to ask if you can identify quick. Was it like extra information that has changed? That changed your mind?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I think it's experience and analysis has kind of changed it. I think I had like a gut reaction, and I was trying to assess why it is and why I had these knee-jerk reactions to things. And I didn't see that they were actually, I don't know, legitimate. It seemed like it was just more, I have this feeling. And when I kind of dissected it, it's like, I'm imposing this on there. If I take it for what it is, it's much better than I'm giving it credit for. I'm trying to, though. I'm trying to be aware of them, and then I can decide if I actually feel that or not.
Well, it's like what Grace said about mental health. I would say across the world, mental health is ignored, and it's like getting old. We don't want to think about it because everything we know about it is horrible. Until it happens. And you're just like, nah, fuck that, I don't care. And then you finally experience something that's like it. Like, wait, this is what being crazy is? This is horrible.
Oh, this is really it? It's like, it's not a choice? Oh.
Yeah, like, fuck all of this.
Look who's here.
Speaking of crazy.
Speaking of crazy.
Oh, look at him.
Sound.
Morning. He's got morning voice.
This is the first time I've spoken since I woke up.
Yeah.
You haven't had your coffee.
No, I have not had coffee.
Yeah. Warm it up.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, go ahead. Go have your
Hello.
Oh, I definitely am going to. I was just going to say hi first.
Lubricate.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So long we'll get into hydro. Oh, J-Mac. Yes, CJ.
Oh, and there we go. Just
another. That is a hot take.
Wow.
One of my
Bimo. I was going to say Bimo can read it in his morning voice.
Oh, yeah, morning voice. Yeah, Bimo, go.
Okay. One of my biggest wake-up moments was coming to the realization and acceptance that Final Fantasy VI is a better game, story, and character-wise than Final Fantasy VII. Jesus. Final Fantasy VII is still my favorite, though. You see, Final Fantasy VII is a game that I have never finished, but I 100%ed Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, so, fight!
I'm a little biased here, but I mean,
wake up moment. What do you mean wake up moment?
If you realize that Cloud is actually a bad protagonist. No, that's not what he said, but
interesting. Well, Yeah, Jay, let us know. You don't have to super chat to do that, because you know our chat is so fucking crazy that you need a super chat every time you want to say something. But absolutely love that. One of the biggest ways. So I'm just thinking. So when we say wake up moments, it is changing your mind on something. So what happened there was from the
Oh,
experience of
Lucifer's
the
wrong,
game, I
too.
suppose. I wish you were wrong, Jay. Oh, okay. So, listen, this is not, again, we went off on the Trump train, and now you guys are trying to go down the Final Fantasy train. Come back. Okay.
Okay.
So, Hydra, are you there? I would like
I
to.
am, yes.
I would
I
like to hear.
unfortunately can't really contribute to the Final Fantasy conversation because I haven't played a single Final Fantasy game. So
No, I'm asking you
That
about
cannot be possible.
I'm actually
that
trying
is
to get us.
possible, Bimo.
I'm going to tap the sign, boys.
I'm sorry.
So, what I wanted to say is, what do you have a mind change moment that
Yeah,
you could list, describe
it's-
for us?
It's mainly I had longer, like elongated, stretched out, bigger, slow mind change moments about like kind of bigger topics, slowly but surely. You know, I'm continuously kind of experimenting, looking at things from a new perspective, talking with people constantly again and again, seeing, like, trying out ideas or supporting ideas, then seeing how they actually impact the world, drawing new conclusions from that, you know, forming another idea based on that. So one of these examples is, for example, I use the word example too much, fuck me. Originally, I was a little bit naive, and I used to think that, you know, nations should be allowed to conduct their own affairs without like being under the strict supervision of some bigger council or some other alliance nation or United Nations, however they want to, without
like North Korea.
supervision. Like they should be. Your people shouldn't have to answer to like the combined force of the other European nations or whatever, and tell you that you can't have this kind of electric current or like or coffee or ice cream or whatever. And I thought we could just really try to get along and, you know, and be friendly with nations that have very different ideas on leadership, human rights, politics, and fundamental views on the human race, and that, you know, basically the West should just try to hug it out with the Eastern powers. And then, of course, as I matured, I saw Russia invade nation after nation. I saw China behave like a bully internationally and then go full 1984 on their own population and start a genocide, fucking over people both in Africa and in Eastern Europe. I saw them fuck over my home, basically coming here uninvited, impacting mine and other people's lives whom I care about, and essentially starting to build their own little empire, their colonizing project. And then I initially thought that, you know, maybe some new Western politicians would be finally able to stand up to them and stop them from exploiting and enslaving the innocent. And one of those is, I believe that Donald Trump would be the cutthroat businessman that finally comes in, like removes the complicit and corrupt order in the West, in America, and restores the freedom and liberty of the oppressed, both domestically and abroad. And then once again, I saw him just sabotage the West internationally, cripple military projects, destroy alliances, buddy up with Putin and Kim Jong-un. And once again, I was like kind of disappointed and black-pilled about the state of the world, how it's much easier to actually, just pretend that nothing wrong is going on, and that, well, I can't really do anything about that, or, you know, that people oppose me, so I couldn't do that. Or it's that I just saw more and more how politically, financially, and in other methods is it profitable to ignore or profit from tremendous suffering, and I really, really dislike it. But that's a thing that my view on the world has darkened significantly. As I am now thoroughly convinced that some nation's leadership need to be well, not the nation itself obviously, but their current government leadership, or some individuals or some ideologies that cause them to behave in certain ways, need to be destroyed if the human race is to survive another century on this planet without blowing ourselves up. So that's my view has has darkened significantly in that, yeah, the only option is to fight these people, basically.
Literally,
Okay.
physically.
Not necessarily physically, but in some manner remove them from power. You don't have to necessarily fist fight them. You could have a peaceful revolution.
Challenge them to a duel.
I'm going to say, so what I did list here is international relations, leaders, and, solutions. You've changed your mind about what solutions would work.
And how to approach nations that are shitting on human rights or invading their neighbors, basically. I moved towards a much more hard stance of basically, now I consider it a show of cowardice and betrayal when the United States didn't follow up on their guarantee, when they originally promised that if anyone tried to invade Ukraine or or even fuck with their sovereignty, they would militarily come in to support them and defend them. They didn't do that. And this directly caused, for example, South Korea and other nations to try and start to or even attempt to revitalize their own nuclear programs, because they draw the conclusion that a piece of agreement with the United States is worthless. The best they can do is going to slap some equipment from the 60s, 70s, 80s your way, and that you really aren't guaranteed to be defended unless you are directly within their sphere of influence or you have nukes. And so that's and again, even the most bombastic leaders like Donald Trump, who came in with guns blazing, the speeches he held even before he was president, but again, absolutely crazy media figure. Like, he had all of this bravado, he had all of this support, he had all of these said these really popular and crazy things that went to crowd, and it seemed like he was going to be the guy who tells this far no further, Russians go home or whatever, and it just didn't happen. And I saw it again and again, not just from Trump, but from other Western leaders as well. And I came to the disappointment that we don't have leaders who are willing to actually stand up for those that get exploited by the power-hungry dictators. It's those that send their children
Russia
to die.
didn't invade under Trump. It was under Biden, wasn't it?
Yeah, the invasion itself wasn't under Trump. It was obviously under Biden. I know it exactly because it happened on my fucking birthday. That's why I know it. So that's.
So I'm really happy about that.
Yes, very happy. I was actually blowing out the candles on my cake.
Oh.
Blow up. Never mind. I was going to make a bad.
No, yeah. Bimo, okay. So we got that Hydra. That is. I do agree. You've been black pilled, but that's those are all mind changes, and they're valuable to
and
listen.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, Mr. Blobfish. I didn't mean to imply that it was under Trump that the Ukraine thing was a failure. I simply put that in as another point of the Western leaders being unable to fully stand up against Putin, just giving this kind of soft, we don't like that, or we're going to give weapons to the enemies. That's what I didn't want to insinuate that was Trump's fault too. I hold him responsible for other failures, but not the Ukraine war specifically.
Sure. Cool.
Away from Trump. Come.
Yes, done. Finally, stop talking about that. I don't know. Let's not talk about it again. Go away.
Bimo, what have you changed your mind about?
Oh man. So there have been quite a few things that I've changed my mind on, and some of this let's see, what can I narrow this down to? Okay, so politically, in the past decade, I've changed quite a bit. I used to be very right wing. That was the thing. I would watch a bunch of right wing commentators. My family has always been super conservative.
Consuper,
yes. I, over time, have found that there was a lot of inconsistencies in what I was told both the parties stand for. And I actually, I started reading older liberal documentation. I started watching more centrist. Sitch and Adam actually helped with this whole situation here. But the big thing that changed my mind was actually Steven Crowder. I watched Steven Crowder. I was a big fan of Steven Crowder for many years. And what happened was I was arguing with someone, and I remembered that Steven Crowder would always say, our source is in the show notes, and you can go look up the show notes.
Mhm.
But I looked up the show notes, and they had a source, and this source was bullshit.
Mhm.
And that immediately was like, I thought these guys did their research.
Yeah, you trusted them.
I did. And yeah, this was, it wasn't just Steven Crowder, but Steven Crowder was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, now you're gonna
Mhm.
question a lot more things because you took it
Uh-huh.
implicitly as yeah, and now it's like you once you saw that, oh, one of these is just
You-
absolute bullshit and it made it into the show notes, then you're gonna check all the other
Yes.
ones.
do you remember what it was?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was, oh yeah, it was about gun violence.
Mhm.
And gun ownership per capita versus like it was something around race. I don't remember exactly.
Mhm.
But
But you checked it out.
I did, and it was a single source that had no source behind it. It was I made it up.
This guy said
Solid
somebody citation is I think this. That's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
the source was trust me, bro.
Mhm.
And that bothered me a lot because like Steven Crowder for years would be like, no, we do our research. We know what we're talking about. It's like, no, you fucking don't.
See you, Jay. Thank you so much.
See you later, Jay. Take care.
Thank you so much for throwing money our way and engaging in the conversation too.
Yes.
That was really nice.
Absolutely
as
appreciate it. Love
well.
it.
Also, good points. Definitely not influenced by the piles of cash, but yeah. Thank you for financing this little production.
Yeah. Unrelated to that, you are our favorite watcher, but unrelated to that. But,
unrelated.
Completely unrelated. Yeah.
Just thought we would let you know. And we
still
got
to get him on.
Yeah, we still have to get him on to about the show, his game. I don't think he replied. I think Lucifer asked him how the game's going, but I don't think I saw the reply. Anyway, we'll get that on.
Let's see. There's a couple other things that kind of are along the lines of politics, because like the abortion issue is of course a political issue, kind of unavoidable at this point for that to be not. But I've actually grown stronger in my stance. I was very wishy-washy, but now I feel more solid over time about how I feel about it, which is like I have a pretty strong stance on abortion, so we can have that conversation at some other time. But in terms of other things I've changed my mind on, let's see. I honestly, like, aside from politics stuff, there's a lot of things that I don't really think about them, so I'm like, did I change my mind on that?
Stopped caring about it. Yeah. Hey Bob, we're talking about things that just while BMO tries to think of others, we're talking about changing our minds. We're listing at the moment that the part we're on at the moment is listing things that we've changed our mind on, and obviously the main focus is political change, because that seems to be like the most difficult one to experience, or even actually just anything online that we're talking about. Changing your mind online is very difficult because you are told that you're wrong, and then you back down. You back down. No, you don't back down. You strengthen you actually don't even take in the information. You stay in your position. You don't let your mind be changed. But we do eventually change our mind. So what I wanted to do was look at all these things that we list, that the thinkers can list instances that they know they changed their mind on something that they were really set on, and then they changed it. What was the mechanism that changed their mind, so we can identify that. So yeah, if you want to add to the list, that would be great.
There's one actually that I remember now. I've changed my mind on drug use, that's for sure.
Okay.
So I used to be very, very, very much against any sort of drug use. Obviously not like the prescriptive kind. One of my friends growing up was a drug dealer. And I would argue with him all the time about weed. And I was very much like, this is going to kill you. You are going to
Devil. Yeah.
you're very much the stupid for enjoying this. And then I smoked weed.
Then you smoked weed.
Mary Jane.
Yeah. And I understand now that it is a lot more sensationalist. A lot of the positions that people took, I did actual research on them instead of looking at an organization that's dedicated to making it completely illegal all the time forever. Because that's where I was getting my information, of course. Because it's an authority. I appeal to authority. And maybe that's something I changed my mind on as well. But we can get to that in a second. Yeah, I don't really care about weed anymore. I think that it should not be a highly illegal drug. Out of every other drug that's on the schedule, it doesn't make sense logically why it's there. But having been a burnout before from weed, I don't recommend people using it every single day. So maybe don't do that. Actually, CPAFI in the chat actually did right there. That's exactly how I feel. It's a retard trap, but it's a reasonable, safe enough one. Yeah.
Bob said, the goon, he says, yeah, also Bob has the best music on Rosales' show. Bob's
yeah, it's always about a woman. It is always.
Never yelled at friends who did. Then I met a girl, and so it was. Did you also meet a girl?
Yes.
So that's why you did it, because of a girl. You know what?
She got me to smoke weed for the first time. Yeah.
You know what? Keep that in mind for the mechanism, though, because we do need to. We are going to figure out. Let's see if we can identify things that made these minds change. Us change our minds on these things. Was it more information? Most of the time, it was more information, but we are, as we've said, is like we are against looking for information that's going to change our mind. We like to sit with the status quo and get confirmation bias everywhere. We want to be right, and we want to continue to be right. So it seems like changing our mind, there have to be certain things that all just happen.
Check your WhatsApp.
Apparently, I have to check my WhatsApp.
I've changed my
I'm
mind.
busy, guys. Literally, I'm busy.
Well, check your WhatsApp.
Oh my God! What did you win? Sorry, guys. No. You know what? Oh my God! These would be real life friends if they lived closer. They bought tickets. You bought tickets to Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong to Japan.
So we're going. Sorry, guys, I've got to go. We're going to Hong Kong. We're going to Hong Kong. So.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Right, yeah. Thank you. Thanks. No.
Jealous.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so much, Jay.
I'm canceling the flight. You hear this?
I didn't say thank you. No, I said thank you, J Mac, instead of my husband.
Oh no!
No!
Oh no! J-Mac financing the Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I didn't say the Hong Kong.
No,
Wow. What a turn of events.
He says fuck that, he's canceling my thing, and he's like, you know what, at least somebody's gonna take care of the cats while I'm gone.
Yeah, be J-Mac.
Well,
So
I mean, it is good that they'll be taken care of.
and it's good that I'll just have to sit and stream the whole time Gordon's not here, because I'll be so depressed and crying. And just I'll be like, you know, all those girls that post their L's on the internet, that's me. I'm gonna be like, I don't have mom. Here's me with my cats. This is me without my husband. And then the internet turns off because I don't have any money. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Yes, guys, going to Japan, because we're going to Hong Kong and then we're going to go to Japan. So
Cool.
I'm going to see all the Pokemon things. So excited.
That's so cool.
But it's next
Congratulations.
year. It's next year. So yeah.
Well, when you
Anyway.
go, we need to see the pictures of
Of
all the
course.
Pokemon stuff that you get.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so cool. Yeah. Anyway, my best friend is going to Hong Kong in October. You guys should hang out. Well, you see, I'm not going to be there in October. It's in March. It's going to be for my anniversary. So
It's
that's even worse. That
extremely important.
I say Jay. Yeah.
You need to give us a first-hand account of the variety of Kit Kat available in Japan. Because I heard
Dude.
that there is insane variety of
My
Guys,
sister
there will
used
be
to
a
live
Kit Kat
there.
diagram.
There's so many great Kit Kats that they gatekeep Kit Kats. Like, it's not fair.
I've
Is it like
gotten
99% of them is only available in Japan? I mean,
I've
of
The
the
got it.
green
variety.
tea Kit Kats are to die for.
I've gotten Kit Kats from Hong Kong before. The green one, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
so good.
there you go, Charles. I see you. I got overheated because my husband was busy telling me that I'm not going on holiday with him. So that kind of stops me. Anyway, where were we? We're talking about changing minds.
So I was
yes,
talking about weed.
yes.
If there's other things, it was kind of tangentially related. Appeals to authority. I've very much changed my mind on that over time because I've found that my authorities can be very wrong. So why would I appeal to them a lot of the time? A lot of the time, when I try to use an authoritative source, I really want to try and find out if they're actually using legit information, which is really hard sometimes. Because verifying, like, let's say, medical documentation, stuff like that, can be very difficult because there can be a variety of different opinions that there's no consensus on. So, like, if we want to talk about nutrition, there's so much arguing, so much lobbying, even.
Yeah.
Matcha Kit Kats are to die for.
So yeah, that actually brings me to anything else? Because I mean, look, the drugs one, that's actually quite a big one. Corona Kid mentioned guns. I actually am adding guns to my one as well because I was very scared of guns, and then Gordon got a gun, and I was.
You guys can have those over there?
Not here, no, in South Africa.
Ah.
So sorry, I got cold again. So you can say it again, Charles.
Show's over, boys.
But,
Oh God, I just realized what you meant. Okay.
So I changed my mind on guns, and that was again. I'll show you the mechanism. So let's. Anyone else want to add
I'd like
anything?
to point out how important connections were in changing the mind. Like Pimo had his friend and relationship or impact, kind of our perspective and stuff. Me, I had like observed the impact of both foreign and domestic policies on myself and the people I care about. Like it seems that a lot of us genuinely had not just our own, but our connections with other people, and through which we saw the effects of things that influenced us to change our opinion. Definitely not quickly, but slowly but surely on some things.
Look, I'm all on board with going.
That is one of the great philosophical questions of life, and I have to say, how can you not like both?
You know what? I think you should be genetically programmed to like both, but whatever. I mean, both of them look the same. Just think about an ass crack.
Okay,
I know,
that
right?
look the same. Okay, yeah, that's
A
They
booty
look the
bent
same.
over looks like a pair of boobs.
Yep. Okay, so now just looking at the mechanisms, let's go into it. Okay, we've identified a pattern so far. Like Hydra said, a connection. So it wasn't that a stranger? It doesn't seem. Look, some people do have their minds changed by a stranger. It's not that that never happens,
Right.
but for all of us, it's not what Gray's also did a wardrobe change. Nice. He went from jar to booty. You were staunch. Are you more agnostic now? That's quite a big change.
When you were a child, like, were you
Like
in kindergarten
yesterday?
saying God isn't real? Like,
He was that. I changed. I changed. Actually, that's another one. I'm going to put that. I was atheist as
asking
well.
the real questions back at age 6.
I went atheist. I went Christian, atheist, Christian. Yeah, Yeah, Christian, atheist, Christian. Oh, Catholic, not Christian. Okay, Catholic, atheist.
There is a
Christian.
difference.
Yes.
The Christians have so many different denominations and groups.
Yeah,
it's
but
mind-numbing.
the closest you can say about me is Christian, but
Mhm.
not a denomination, non-denominational. Yeah, that's
Let's
and
go,
even
Kitty.
then,
Non-denominational.
Yeah.
That's the way
Yeah.
that's the way it's about. It's all about.
Catholic, yes. So, but anyway,
Catholic, oh my
so that
God.
was and also when those are major changes that happen, and I can see that also, like Sparkle said earlier on, the people that change become more conservative in their thinking as they get older. We had Jay say that he's less open to changing his mind, but he's more open to being challenged as an older person.
I don't
Sure.
really like how I don't mean to tell others what they think and experience, but I can't help but feel like or get the impression that it's not really fair to compare I'm less likely to change my mind when I was young, when I was super fickle, because that could be a really good thing, especially combined with the fact that you are now open to so many more things, as J Max said, which provides you the opportunity to change your minds when it's really a good thing. So I think it's doesn't sound, for some people it might sound bad when he says I'm less likely to change my mind on some things, but compared to what he said he did when he was younger, it's definitely better than that. So it's context important.
Okay, yeah. It's just an observation that he made about the way his how his mind seems to change. But you're right as well. The fact that he was that way also makes him open to changing his mind now. And yeah, sure, he might not change it, but he's open. The fact that he can listen to challenging arguments is different. That's new and good. It's a good thing to I think that's a good way to evolve into, fine. If you are solid in your beliefs, you will actually be okay with them being challenged. You should be. You should at least let them be challenged.
Yes, this is very crucial. Let me quickly insert this point here because it's very relevant and I need to say it. I think modern society has an issue with this. Teaching children and young people and giving them the ability to form their own core beliefs and have them be challenged repeatedly and in sufficiently impactful ways. Like you should be able to, for example, at university or college, like read Mein Kampf and develop a resistant enough belief system that can withstand an assault from tyranny and evil. That is like you can actually sit down and actually explain, this is why I am against like a Hitler-style dictatorship, or this is why I think you should hone your personal beliefs and points by having them challenged and tempered in the fires of
Argue with yourself in the shower.
Argue with yourself in the shower.
Yes,
Argue
exactly.
With
young people should be able to develop the ability to forge their own worldviews by seeing what dangers and potentials could lie ahead to really prepare them for life. That's I think something that universities need to do instead of the whole safe space thing.
Corona Kid has an amazing comment that kind of molded my politics as well.
Because of Corona Kid changed you?
Just the same way, pretty much.
I became more right after moving from Kansas to California. Wow! So
they are real.
They are real.
Geolocation.
Like,
as a Californian, they are real.
Wow. Okay.
In Seattle, they are real.
Yes. So again, geolocation and who you are surrounded with, what community you are living in, all extremely, extremely important.
Okay,
I am also probably pushed in certain political directions due to the certain kind of extremists I am surrounded with physically. So it's very impactful. Don't ever discount it as a personal.
We get it. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I'm literally talking about local politics. They have nothing to do with Trump.
You see what I'm talking about the you don't choose your sexuality. That used to be a liberal take. that you it's not a choice.
The
Now
Overton window.
Born
Oh,
this
It's
way.
gotten smaller and smaller and then moved to a
Yeah.
completely different direction.
like, where are you? Like, not many people have moved. That's another thing is the context changed, so your label has changed. That does happen. We can't. We would have to track that, but we're talking about the way we feel about certain things. And so we've said that the context, that's one of the biggest things, is that literally now he moved to a different place. But the thing is that made him become exposed to more information. So it seems like everybody gets their mind changed by new information. Can we identify that in all of us? Okay, so for me, it was realizing that he wasn't lying about what they said about abortion. The right to try, because I was convinced that Trump was just all bad and he could never do anything right. And when I realized that was something, it was like, those street interviews where somebody goes and says, "Can you name a policy that you hate Trump for?" And that I couldn't. That's the kind of thing that actually went, where I was like, okay, I can actually point to something that I like that he did. So maybe I should not be so freaking rabid about it. So it was new information, right? And yes, I can't really pinpoint how I came across that information, but I can only think it was about the context. It was about it was me watching Sitch, watching Adam, all of that kind of stuff. I think that for a lot of people, yeah, Sitch and Adam were actually like, and that's what they get called, the gateway drug and whatever. Meantime, they're
People freaking hate those dudes.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they did some things to generate controversy, so I can understand them becoming more divisive.
Some would say on purpose.
Pisco fans aren't a fan.
For sure.
Okay, that's don't. You
Literally
just brought up another divisive person.
Anyway, then let's continue. Let's talk about me. Thank you. Okay, so sushi. The thing is, I had a connection there. Yes, the guy, but because I went on a date with a guy and he convinced me to eat sushi, and I absolutely loved it. So, but that was me being open to an experience because of the person that I liked. I went with him. So this was new information, which was I experienced the taste of it. So it was new information, but it took a person. So context, a connection happened there. College majors. Okay, so what happened was I did have the options, but I also, like Dorcas did, when I went, it was on registration day, when I was registering for my courses, that I actually changed to BA. Like I was right there. I think it was like, no, that day I was registered. I had registered, and the next day I went and changed around. And I had to find a place in certain classes and things. So that was from registering, I got more information, and that made me think about it. And then I made a change. Guns, I got more information because I was also became familiar with them. And I became less scared of them. I was introduced to gun safety and also introduced to the good feeling of having a gun. Okay.
The good feeling of riddling something with bullets.
Just the fact of knowing that was there. And listen, this was in South Africa. Okay, it would make no sense to have a gun here. This would be stupid here. So then Catholic. Okay, so that's this youngest one is Catholic to atheistic Christian. One of the things that I will make a thing is I was properly atheist, and then I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and I got scared, and I realized, Chinsia, why are you scared? Why do you say you believe in demons? And then it just got me thinking. So I do remember that being a logical fallacy thing that stomped me. It was like, why am I scared of demons and I don't believe in God? If I don't believe in God, then I must believe in God. Hey, so that was a journey. There it was again. It was an experience that moved it. Okay, wasn't exactly that it gave me new information. It's that it gave me a new perspective. Okay, Dorcas, yours was death penalty. You can't say where exactly who it was, but you know that the argument changed your mind.
Yeah,
but it was
and it's important to note the principle stayed the same, but the position changed. if that makes
And
sense.
yeah, the position changed. So the principle is that you didn't.
Application.
Yes, the application.
The standard became an impossibility. I sort
Okay.
of realized.
You realized you noticed certain information, and that made you say the standard is not possible, therefore I can't hold it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can't really pick up where that came from. It's just that you know that was the knowledge that changed it.
Yeah, I don't remember
Dorcas
where
is
I heard.
also anti-appeal to authority.
Kind of. He changed his authority. Well, the authority said this is okay, and then I suppose Dorcas
I would
questioned
say
himself.
I would say congruently I was becoming less and less trustworthy of the government. And I was, I can't say I ever liked the government, but I was liking it less and less each day. And that probably had an effect. As my distrust in the government grew, so did the realization that they're going to get that kind of stuff wrong as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this kind of, you started trusting your own judgment as opposed to just outsourcing it and trusting that the government itself could just be infallible. That's a great point. That authority thing. Nicely spotted, Bimo. And then the college thing, that was also
Yeah, so I went on tours of both colleges. I spoke to the heads of the departments personally and to people that were students that were in those departments. And I just evaluated all of the information before me, and I determined that my second option would give me better opportunities rather than the first. So I changed my mind.
But what made you not just go for your first choice? Because you called it your first choice and that's it. But you still went and did the investigation. So was it that you were actually kind of undecided, or
doing my due diligence?
Okay. So you were just like, I'll just do it. And it just so happened that you turned up with the new information, or you knew a new perception.
Yeah. Well, to be more specific, I was a theater major, and my choices were one school which had a wonderful reputation, but was very competitive, and they had rules in the theater department. Like, if you wanted a chance at getting into the BFA program, you had to have been cast as a lead in something like 2 of their main stage productions, which was very competitive. And I'm not sure I'm pro competition in an education environment, but that's not something I've thought tremendously deeply about. Point being, it after going to the other college, I thought my opportunity for actually getting into the main stage productions at my second choice would be higher than at the first choice. And I was kind of thinking about whether or not I actually wanted to get a BFA or just a BA, and I didn't really want to go for the BFA. Didn't really seem as enticing to me. So ultimately, second choice, which paid off. I got to play the lead in 2.
So you actually did. You were right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And anything else on there that you? But yeah. So it was new information.
Yeah.
Or further information, and a feeling. Okay. Charles, when you identified basically a moment
Thank
that you yes, Dorcas, you're surprisingly likable.
Yeah, surprisingly.
It's not an inaccurate statement. Theater kids are the worst.
I agree.
One of my closest friends is a theater kid as well. But she became a teacher, so I get no. She was proper. She was a.
How many years did
somebody
she
I
do?
changed my mind about. Actually, I met her, and she thought she thought I hated her. I thought she hated me, so we didn't like each other. and then we figured out that we don't. It's not that we only thought the other person didn't like us, and so we were like strange cats. And then eventually we were like besties.
So who came between you guys and was like, "Oh, she doesn't like you"?
Oh, it wasn't that. No, nobody did that. Actually, we both disliked someone. So we both, females, we both disliked someone, and we were like, oh, we both have the same taste in person.
Mutual foes, the oldest alliance creator in the history of the human species.
Woman. No, it was funny. It was so weird. I don't know. We eventually we literally spoke and said like, it was new information. Again, it was new information, new experience, changed perception of her. And then she was one of my closest friends throughout varsity. I still speak to her today. She was one of my bridesmaids. So, so there you go. Okay, so Charles was telling us that he changed because he had the moment where he realized he landed up watching Gray and Patrick and agreed with them on something, and that was his moment of going, okay, I guess they're not the absolute worst everything, which is kind of the same mechanism that I got with Trump, where it's like, oh, they're not the absolute worst. So Charles was upset that I identified the same mechanism. I don't know if he's still here, but anyway, I was going to ask Charles to talk about it, but he's still muted, so we'll go.
He's busy.
Yeah, we'll go onto Gray. You've got a lot of changes: music, morality, from anything to moral intuitions. You're not talking, Charles. Are you on the loo? And I can say loo to Charles.
He's texting.
Generally,
in the
he
chat.
is. It's a good guess.
He's on the loo. Yeah. Both. No, you won't. You'll come back. Lou. Okay, he's on the loo. Okay. So tell us, Gray, mechanisms that you can identify in yours.
I don't know. So like the moral intuitions, I think it was always kind of guiding everything, and I think we do a lot of that. But we necessarily, it's not something that we're thinking about, but it does inform a lot of our thinking, like that kind of internal. I forget what Haidt called them, but like basically you've got an internal PR person who's going to spin things for you. It's a lot of weird stuff that we do kind of internally and not necessarily consciously. So I don't know. I think understanding that helped me understand a ton of this. Also going through the mental health stuff, kind of realizing all the cognitive distortions I was using. It really helped me grow. Like the pandemic was an awesome time for introspection for me personally. Well, the world is on fire. Yeah. So I don't know. I am kind of grateful for that. I think that's when I made like my biggest changes, but I don't know. I think everything else, like you have kind of a worldview, and who's to say whether it's right or not. And then you experience shit, and you kind of test it at certain times. And I'd like to think I abandoned what didn't work, and now I have a much stronger ground on what I do believe in and how I do see the world. But I don't know. I was always kind of a weird outsider thing because like I had a super liberal mom and a super conservative dad, and then the conservative dad was an atheist, and my mom was like searching for everything when I was a kid. So I literally went through like, I don't know, 10 different religions. Yes, at one point. Awesome. We also went to Sedona, Arizona, which is the vortex, capital of the United States, if you will. Because, we had to feel the right vortexes. I don't know. Vibe. But also like I was baptized Catholic, then she went like Episcopalian and like Jewish. Like I don't know. We went through like a laundry list of them. I think she was like Quaker for like 4 or 5 years. But I don't know. I never felt like a part of that. Quaker, I just always felt like on the outside. Exactly. And then Unitarian after that. So I don't know. I don't feel like I've changed that part of my life. And politically, I always felt like both sides were like not seeing the full picture. Both were like wrong.
Mhm.
Or at least being very close-minded. I don't feel like I've changed that too much, other than now I know my vote's not a joke. But
Mm.
yeah, definitely not voting for Kanye again. But
Not after his debacle.
no, I feel like I know a little bit more now. So I don't know. Other than that, I would like to think everything else was just kind of changed through experience and trial.
It looks like new information. So the new information came in different ways, and then that in turn altered your behavior, which also gave you more information. Like you had a certain gatekeepy view of music, and then you experienced more
Yeah.
music, but then you started to appreciate different music. So you stopped with the
Even that, I think age gives us perspective, because like even then, like I don't know, I always hated a bunch of music from like the early 2000s, and now it's very nostalgic. I don't know. I would mock people for digging that. What was the one that was just in the? Oh, well, that might be spoilers. There's a certain movie that's doing really good, perhaps breaking records, that has a certain throwback song intro to it. I used to hate that song, but now it's like, oh, nostalgia. I remember those moves from that music video. So I don't know.
Okay,
I think just
I've seen it, yeah.
perspective.
Dance.
It's a
It is not the
pretty good
safety dance.
Darn.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think just time gives you things like I used to really, really, really hate like Creed or now I'm Nickelback, but now it's kind of fun to hear like that Photograph thing or
Yeah.
So
with arms wide open
to a
type deal.
place with golden streets.
I think it's nostalgia, but I mean, it's like hell. I even heard Crazy Town the other day, and it's like, oh, that brings back weird memories. That like Butterfly song. I don't know. I think just time in weird ways makes you appreciate certain things more. But yeah, I think almost everything I've changed.
Time changes your experience. So I'm just thinking, like, as well, the time makes that old memory nostalgic, so it becomes more valuable. So you long for whatever the hell that was. And I think when you're in it, because I'm just thinking of like identity and gatekeeping and stuff, especially with music. When Charles just disappeared.
See you, Charles.
Yeah, when I was also being an outsider sort of thing as well, maybe made you want to gatekeep, because you spoke about punk, and one of the things that always really happened was like, that's not metal enough. Like people were always trying to argue about whose music is heavier than, because you were always in this struggle against the mainstream, because
the true metal band.
Yes, exactly. So you kind of against the mainstream, or you're against everyone because they all think that you're a Satanist, right? So you immediately are like, I'm going to kill everyone that says my music's shit. Then you have other people that are like, you're not hardcore enough, you're not different enough. So it was all part of your identity. So that was also part of the current experience. So you were very much, this is me, this is who I am, my music is who I am. So if you try to change that, or you try to take part in it or something, you're a bit more defensive of that, because you're busy developing your identity. So you're going to be a bit more closed-minded, because you're trying to protect yourself. That's what I'm seeing, because I'm thinking about same thing with atheism and things like that. I was very much, because I was surrounded by Catholics, so it irritated the crap out of me.
Can they be annoying?
Yeah, so exactly. So I was like about belief in God. I was annoyed, and that was another thing. So that was the reason that I didn't change my mind. But then my personality, my changes opened me up to more experiences, which gave me more information, which made me more introspective, and then changed my mind. So it seems like we're finding a trend here, because you also said animation, the same thing. Animation, you thought you had a certain opinion of it, then you experienced it, And what do you remember an animation that changed your mind?
Yeah, like there's a ton of reasons. Well, that actually changed my mind. It might be some Studio Ghibli stuff. I'm trying to
Probably.
think what exactly it is, because I mean, like you could even go back to like The Lion King, where like you look at that versus the 3D or whatever you want to call that live action one. I don't know, but at that time I think I was unaware of it, but I realized how deeply you could actually affect somebody with that, and how you can really use that medium to truly take advantage of what that can do, and how fun you can make a scene versus when you try to do it live action. Like it's kind of a poor rendering of what you can actually do. But recently there's things like Scavenger Rain, which is just this amazing series that I think is getting so little praise out there, but it is animated, and what they're able to do with this, I just don't think you could do live action, and it's amazing. It just takes you on like this emotional journey. There's so many other versions of that, but yeah, I was just very close-minded on it. Like almost everything else, I was just being a weird gatekeeper in a way, just trying
Yeah,
to say like
you
that's not what animation is for.
Yeah, you had a narrow view of what animation can only do kids stuff. It can't do deep.
Which I still
Emotion.
dug kids stuff. It's like I don't know. I've been a lifelong Scooby-Doo fan, so like I dug that, and I realized like how little variation there is, how formulaic, how whatever it is. But I just had an appreciation for it on like that it's for kids. It's kids level stuff. It's great. But I don't know. I just realized that like film is trying to imitate what animation can do so much better.
And yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, Dorcas?
No, go on, Kitty.
No, I was just adding to it. So I really want to hear more from you.
Something that has come up in a few episodes of Ascension Unleashed that Kitty and I are working on is this topic of making Mistborn into a movie. And we've discussed certain scenes that I think we were both in agreement on would translate better as an animation rather than a live action.
I think there's so many that would. X-Men 97 like kind of really solidified that for me. Like it can be really amazing what you can do with that. They could never do live action in the MCU, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, Dorcas, to actually piggyback off what you're saying there, having read more Sanderson than you so far, I swear this guy imagines, when he imagines what he's going to write, he is thinking about it in terms of anime. Like he has to be. There ain't no way this man is not thinking about the most fantastical animation that you've ever seen. With some of the things that this dude comes up with, I can't wait for you to try other series so that you really know what I mean. But Mistborn has a lot of those scenes as well. So yeah.
Well, I think just we could have a whole think on animation, because well, I think that the best way to do Wheel of Time would be in an anime, because you could have all of it. Yeah.
Now, actually, it's funny because now that I think about it, I actually did change my mind on anime, and who'd have thought it was because I was trying to get interested in a girl.
She liked anime. She liked anime, so you watched anime.
Really liked anime, so I watched Death Note for the first time, and I loved it.
Was it with
potato chip?
No, I watched it so I could talk to her about it.
Okay.
I asked her for recommendations, and she immediately was like, Death Note, and then One Piece. And guess what my two favorite series of all time are? Death Note and One Piece. Yeah.
Okay, so wait. Let's go through your mindset there. So you're like, listen, it's me and Sushi with the guy as well, because this was something it was our first date. So what is your mind there? You're like, listen, I don't like this, but it's not going to hurt me to watch it, and I will get something from this. I will benefit.
Ambivalent. I had the idea that a lot of it was just that's kid stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so you had Gray's view?
Grow up watching Saturday morning cartoons, and all it was anime. But I mean, it was Pokemon, it was Ultimate Muscle, it was One Piece, it was all these different ones that I just kind of put it in my head as that's just for kids. And then I watched Death Note, and that's certainly not for kids, but it's really good.
So you actually like, and then the thing is, you experienced it and liked it for its own reason. So the fact that you were open to it was because of the girl, sure, but then you actually liked
yes.
it. You didn't have to fake the interest in it and watch and put yourself through it.
Yeah, I wasn't faking my interest because I like, of course, I watched it growing up, but it was the thing that I hadn't been watching it for a long time because I was just like, oh, I'm more into other things. And then she kind of, when I asked her for recommendations, it really opened up the realm of, oh, I can watch this and it's not embarrassing. I can't be told, oh, you're watching kids shows. So yeah, I didn't really care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
that
realized
that
they
was a
weren't
funny
kids
thing.
shows. So you
'Cause-
got new information.
yes, and then I got like, because I was trying to become the person that she was interested in.
Oh, yeah. That's
And that
crush
didn't work
based
out
crows,
because
stalkers.
I asked her out, and then a week later she came out as gay. So
Oh,
all I'm
damn.
saying is that I have
So
that
you
effect
changed
Oh
her
on
my
mind.
women.
god!
I know, right?
Emotional roller coaster.
I have a special effect on women.
Well, look what Sparkles. She says, I can't name who he is, but last year a person asked me to watch One Piece to change my mind on anime. And to be honest, I enjoyed it at the time, but he broke my heart, so I hate anime again. So
Jeez,
this
whiplash.
is how Sparkles changed her mind. Because you know what? She was like, you know what, this anime now, I don't know, maybe it reminds you of that person. He broke your heart. Fuck anime. So that's how you changed your mind back. So the change was not complete inside you. It seems like Bimo took it to heart, even though the girl ended up being gay, he actually landed up liking anime. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a win-win. She gets to be
true.
gay, you get to be gay, because apparently anime's gay.
No, I think what actually made me gay was being in theater at the time. That was what made me gay. But I
What
left
made you
that,
gay?
so
Oh,
I'm no
okay.
longer
Okay,
gay.
so now you're
Yeah.
straight. Okay.
Yeah. I was told if you're in
Welcome to
theater
the
for
club.
15 years, you're gay, but I was only in for 14. So
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, theater kids also, but
So
yeah,
the
right. I was in
conversion
all girls school. So.
the
Didn't
conversion
make it-
therapy didn't work.
Didn't make it to 100%.
Oh, damn. Okay, so that was a new. So we are noticing new experiences. It's very subtle. There's something that makes you susceptible to changing your mind. You experience a new experience. We then noted. Okay, Hydra had. He says. He noted connections or like actual consequences as well. That because they were right, they affected him. Things, actual circumstances affected him. His were much more concrete. Because they seemed a lot more immediate, like world leaders and things like that. There was evidence placed right in front of
The
him.
decisions
undeniable.
they made,
affected you.
I saw it really. Like some of them, both local and abroad, leaders of nations, the decisions they made, some of them that I saw in person and did not like it. Yeah. And also
Exactly.
my friends who I care about also didn't like it. So yeah, it's not as simple, of course, but it is a powerful thing, especially if you live in it. So
yeah, you lived in it, so it was undeniable to you because you had a certain perception and a certain expectation, and then it was not met, and that disappointed. So you actually had an experience of disappointment that changed your mind. It was actually
and
an
that
outcome.
combined with a bunch of other experiences too. That like it was not just it didn't happen what I wanted. It's that it not only didn't happen what was essentially kind of promised or what many really hoped or but also it's going even worse now and it doesn't seem to be stopping, and it's like all of the other things that all of these other people tried, it's not working. Like it's not stopping anytime soon, and it's getting worse.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, Kitty, I kind of had a sushi situation as well.
Yeah, with what?
Not like dating someone and then they liked sushi, but more for a long time, because I didn't like the way that seafood looked, I would say I was allergic to it.
Oh,
and I'm talking about when I was really young, okay? Like I'm
Mhm.
talking like all the way up until like maybe 14, 15, maybe 17. I wouldn't really eat seafood because it just looked weird to me. And then I tried it. I went to because I was trying to fit in with my friends. I went to a place called Trappers. Any Washingtonians might know what Trappers is. It's a franchise it's in Washington, and it's all you can eat sushi. And
Okay.
I got to try like 12 different kinds of sushi there.
Okay, but why did you try it? Just because there was so
because
many.
everyone else was trying it and telling me to
Okay.
stop being a pussy.
Okay. Peer pressure.
It was definitely 100% peer pressure. Yes.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's I've come to love it. It's very good, especially high quality. Though I have got like it can be really bad. It can be amazingly good.
Yeah, well, as you know, that's Ali and I. Whenever we are together, that's what we're supposed to eat. Is sushi and drink wine. That's it. Actually,
I guess
think
I
also
have changed my mind on wine as well over time.
Oh, from experiencing it. You see, but you there we had peer pressure of some sort. You had like as Paffy now says, possible mating opportunity. Okay, that's for me it was possible mating opportunity. And
I love the way that's said.
The time.
It's like a nature documentary.
I like the terminology there. So but the thing is the risk was not huge for us. So also when like I said, when you were gonna watch the anime, you weren't gonna die from watching the anime. You just okay, it's fine. And when you were at the sushi place, it's like, look, the worst thing that can happen is it tastes ugly. I'm not gonna die again. It might be really ugly, and then also I would like these people to shut up, so I will just do it. So I think that's another thing.
That is how I started doing drugs.
Oh, that's okay.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a changed person now. Like I don't do drugs anymore. But
okay, wait,
that is exactly peer pressure was a big part of me growing up.
Okay, Bimo, but then how do you
He just means he's out currently.
Yes. So
wait, yes, I'm completely out. Yes, I'm clean.
But how?
Yes.
So how do you change back?
How do I? What do you mean by change back?
So
I don't know. Have excess money.
Man. Evolve backwards. He has zero effects of any drugs in his system. He traveled back in time and he switched out all of his organs.
True,
What makes you stop drugs?
What made me stop drugs? Okay, so in 2020, when all the lockdowns were happening, the year before, 2 years before actually, I had started smoking like once a week with my roommate, because my roommate, unbeknownst to me, was selling drugs out through my house. So he had a very good supply of weed. Yes. So I still vividly remember. It's a fun story to talk about. Like the first time I actually like got high because I went to go see a movie and it was the worst movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
But that's not really relevant to this question. So we can get to that some other time. So in 2020, there was not a single day that I was not perpetually high. Like I went on a bender. I did not care about my bills. It was basically I was using it to try and drown my depression, knowing that I was in a really bad spot. So I just turned to numbing myself. So yeah, almost an entire year.
I was laughing at Darling, not your story.
That's okay. You can laugh at either. Almost an entire year. Did not go a single moment without having like a really big high. If I would come down, if I wasn't asleep, if I was coming down, I would smoke more just so I can keep it up.
Stay high. Wow.
So I became the burnout. I completely lost a lot of opportunities. I lost a lot of friends. Pretty much just didn't care anymore. And then I had an opportunity to move. Okay. And where I moved, weed is illegal.
Okay.
So that was one thing that really helped me get clean.
Okay. So, but the thing is, why did you move? You weighed it up.
So
listen, if I move, I can't do this.
It was more than just that. I knew that I was in a bad spot, but because of the way that my mindset was, is that I didn't want to change things, even if they were really bad. I was very change averse. So I eventually just came to the conclusion of I need to change. I need to change my scenery. I need to get out of these things. I need to actually start moving forward, because all I'm doing is staying still or moving backwards. And that took a lot of internal conflict.
Yeah, because it's not that you just stumbled out into another living situation and therefore you got clean. That still took a lot. It made it necessary, maybe, but the fact is you had to take the step out of there. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
What happens if your next roommate's cool?
My next roommate is cool, but not in the drug way. He actually said he'll kick me out, which I'm completely fine for that. No, my desire just to do drugs is pretty much zero at this point, because I will never be as high as I was in 2020. I've
So it
tried,
was actually,
so it's like
yeah,
never
it's
say
not
never.
worth it.
So it's from that experience. You had the information. You're like, so some of us are lucky enough we don't get stuck in that and we don't go into it. You went into it, went all the way to the bottom and said, yeah, this is not for me, and something in you stood up and said, okay, we can get away from this, and you got away from it, and that helped you. So
yes.
you've been there. Mm-hmm.
Among like other things, like Miss Sparkles earlier in the chat talked about like some of the things that weed can reveal in you. And I'm not talking about like the spiritual sense. I'm talking about like it can reveal like it can reveal that you might have schizophrenia or some sort of other mental issue in your family. And I already knew that was something that was in my extended family. But I remember vividly a time where I was smoking weed and I had called out from work because I was really sick. I think this was when COVID, right before it was announced. I was sick for 3 weeks in January. And I could not explain why. It was just the worst fever I'd ever had. Well, I remember smoking a lot of weed and taking a lot of edibles because I was like, I'm just going to sleep this out. And I woke up really high because I heard someone breaking into my house. Okay. I'm just going to illustrate exactly how I felt it. So I grabbed my gun and went out there and I cleared my house, making sure, okay, there's no one in my house. My roommate's at work, so they shouldn't be here. No one there. Doors locked. No one's outside. I go back into my room and I hear it again. And that happened for 12 hours.
Oh my. So you were scared as well for 12 hours.
I was terrified. I was like, okay, I know that nothing is real out there, but man, like people banging on my doors, banging on my windows, like it was wild. So that was where I was like, maybe I should take a break from this. It only took 6 months for me to actually take a break from it.
Well, it happened. Well done. Jesus.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Miss Sparkles wants to give you a hug. Everybody
I don't do hugs, sorry.
Oh, that's so lame.
Down.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll just hug Hydra then.
But look at his profile picture. It's so huggable.
Yeah, change your profile picture. It must close its arms.
Yeah,
make it go like this.
Close its arms.
You must do this. That's it. Your profile picture must do that.
I do that for marketing purposes.
No, he's not
faulty
a hugger.
Product.
He's very happy and wholesome, and he has open arms. People want to hug him.
Okay, fine.
So that
I can cuddle four people at once. Okay, I know it's hard to compete. Okay,
he's an orange cat.
Yes.
There we go. He's just that's
the evilest of most creatures on the planet. The most terrifying of all. The orange cat with but one brain cell.
Sometimes they have to share it.
Beam orange. Sorry, I tried.
Beam orange.
Okay, so and the Crowder notes. So we had the authentic. Oh, sorry, I'm just going into the back into the mechanisms. We'll go for another 15 minutes, and then we'll just go into our our. Well, let's close off for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Yes.
close off for the next 10.
Why?
Because you have to play.
Oh, I have to play, so we're gonna finish. Let's
Okay.
do. Can we do? Okay, so we identified the mechanisms through which we change our minds. I've said the
Women.
context. Well, yes, the context is our situation, which can include opportunity for mating. Literally experiences that are thrust upon you, literally around like Hydra experiences, political experiences. You were with a certain roommate, so that changed your mind about things.
Sure.
Yeah, so the context seems to be the main thing, and then the last interesting thing I want to talk about is that authority. Actually, it seems like there was a change in a lot of these cases. There's a change from accepting a certain fact. You go in and you question it. Opening your mind to questioning is, I don't know what there's some feeling that you have that makes you question that authority. So like you had the disappointment of going into Crowder's show notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Greg, is there something that you had that would have opened you to questioning? That's another thing. Like the authority you were your own authority on music.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I'd always been exposed to like my parents' music and stuff, and they liked a wide variety of music, but somehow I just decided like this is my own thing. I'm doing this outsider thing, which was not my own thing. It was weird. So I don't know. I guess I finally just kind of outgrew that. I think honestly being forced to like record different types of music, like, oh, okay, so like here's all that goes into a pop song in order to like make it. Well, I was working in a studio while I was doing the audio engineering school. So it's like it's not a band that I would go out and be like, I need to record you, but you know, it's like these guys have a session booked, so you're doing this style of music now. It's kind of awesome, like seeing how much goes into even like the simplest shit. But that really opened my eyes there, and I think a lot of it's just experiencing it. I don't know, like you look into like the Daryl Davis thing where he's able to get a whole bunch of different like clan hoods from different people because he is able to kind of change their mind through, you know, they had a bunch of misconceptions and them having this new experience. They're able to see like, oh yeah, okay, I guess I was wrong here. I don't know. I'm not sure what exactly brings that about. He thinks it's conversation, but I don't know. Experience for sure. I think that builds heavily into it for me.
What do you think about calling it experience and introspection? Because you can have an experience and completely disregard it. That experience has to be big enough to make you think yourself and have some sort of thought process inside yourself. It has, I don't know, it has to strike a nerve, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. I guess you do have to be open to testing your beliefs. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't feel like I ever like started doing that. I feel like there were certain areas of my life that I stopped doing that in, and that was specifically like music and a lot of, you know, I hate this style of movie. I hate this whatever, and then I don't know. I feel like I just got less gatekeepery and just kind of open myself up to the experience.
Yeah, more open to experience. I think, yeah, we have to have the experience, but also, I don't know, I do feel like there is some sort of self-awareness that's required, so that you do question where, I think when it comes to those authority things, you question where it comes from, where your beliefs come from. And that was why we spoke about Moist Critical, because it seemed like he did not have these questions. He didn't answer these.
Exactly, that's the issue. Like, even though like Sneako's worldview was almost non-existent, hypocritical, and fundamentally like just deranged and unhinged, the mere fact that Moist Critical didn't really have I'm not saying he didn't have the solid fundamental pillars in place, but he couldn't really verbalize or explain how or why and for what reason he has them there. Based on that fact alone, he kind of lost, because Sneeko said some deranged shit and then said, I believe because Allah said so, and I believe in the Quran. I'm paraphrasing, I'm mocking it a little bit, but still. And Moist Critical couldn't really like derive his and based on that. Fundamentally, he seemingly lost out in the eyes of many, even though he only like, come on, I don't consider Sneeko's morals sound at all.
I could be wrong, but like I don't think Moist Critical has like that controversial of a take on it. It seems rather normie, at least to like half of the US, I would say, has a similar take that, like, you know, the age of consent is 18. However, you know, these people can transition. Like it seems like it's a very common opinion. I don't know if it is well thought through or if most people could justify it. I think if most people were asked to justify it, you'd run into that same kind of
exactly that same. It's a bad argument. So, well, not a bad argument. It just logically there is a conflict in those two things. So people maybe haven't encountered that. So they would run into it if they were forced to. But then, last question. I know we've only got a few minutes. When you do change your mind or something like this, because the reason we spoke about all these cool things that they happened mostly gradually and they were personal and they did have they did cause different things to happen in our lives. So it was life-changing. But so, for example, something like that, you go through something like what Charlie went through, where you are given something about your opinion and you realize that maybe you haven't thought something through all the way through. That doesn't mean you have to change your mind, but maybe you do change your mind. How is the best way? I just want to ask the panel, what advice would you give to someone who's had their mind changed online, or what's the best way to gracefully change your mind? And then we'll be done.
One thing is very important that I know for sure. You need to give them space and time for that process to properly marinate and take place. It's almost certainly takes at least one or two nights of good sleep. First of all, that's how neurons and memories and all of this stuff, works in the brain, literally, for memories, etc., and other stuff. But also for them to just do something else and work their minds on something else and be allowed to focus on completely different things for sufficient amount of time. And that is the only reliable way for them to actually change a fundamental, an opinion that is really close and actually important to them, not like what I'm going to have for dinner. So it's important to give them breathing space, which is often not considered, but it must be, it's a thing that you have to consider sometimes.
Yeah, it's not new instant. Sorry, yeah, Dorcas?
I think a big part of it is, not trying to force it, just being there and open to having the conversation, being willing and able to express your own opinion, and you can't force another person to be in a mindset in a specific place in their own life to be receptive to that change. But as long as they are coming to you with that inquisitive nature and seeking, at the very least, comprehension, then just being there to represent your own opinion, I think, will do more than actively trying to change aggressively someone's opinion. And changing pictures, BMO, is my bit. How dare you?
Especially, like, is that
you have competition now, Dorcas? You have competition.
It's not in reply to what Dorcas is saying. I'm just loading them up.
Because the way it looked, I was like, what are you trying to say to him? Gray, just anything that you would say. I'm totally in agreement with both Hydra and Dorcas. Gray, what are you saying about change? How you should change your mind online if you do?
I think, it would be awesome if people could just be honest and say, like, I have changed my mind on this, but I think oftentimes how it's handled is, you are a liar now. You used to have this opinion. Like, I don't know, people are kind of attacked for it. So it just makes more sense to kind of just be silent about it. I don't know. I wish we didn't kind of weaponize that somebody's changed their opinion, so therefore they were lying at some time.
Yeah, you're a flip flopper.
Good line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I wish people did kind of believe in change, and you don't have to preface everything with "I used to believe this, now I believe this." Instead, you could kind of just understand that people's beliefs evolve over time. But I don't know. Perhaps that's a little too hopeful. I don't know.
Yeah, too sophisticated.
It's really fun to get a clip and catch somebody on like, but you said this before. But I don't know.
You said this
Bimo?
11
Change.
years ago. Do you still
Yeah,
believe
people.
it?
Bimo, anything there? And sorry, guys, I know I'm kicking us out, but I have to go.
As do I. So, first I'll just.
Well, thank you both for taking time out of your lives.
I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I'm being accused of not caring about my friendship and all
Yeah,
that.
someone is whispering mean things into your ear while you're here. I know the feeling.
Yeah.
So, change is a natural thing. Being averse to change is also a natural thing. Humans like consistency. So, but the thing is that if you don't change in your life, then you're not going anywhere. You're not going to do anything. It does not lend to an interesting life if you don't try to change. It doesn't have to be big things, but sometimes it can be big things. I'm not trying to get super philosophical here, but life changes, and it's just how it's supposed to be. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here.
I like that.
Try not to make stupid decisions, but you'll probably know what stupid decisions are after you make them.
Oh, that's it. I like that. Thanks, guys, for joining us for the Think on Changing Minds. Let's just have a quick whatever was everyone doing? Dorcas, what's happening?
Tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, Kite and I are doing a blind live reading over on the No One Asked You podcast
Wait,
channel.
when is this?
Tonight, in like 7 hours from now.
Oh, I'm gonna be there.
Excellent.
I'll have time.
Of the 11th metal.
What time is it? My time
The
again?
11th
It's
metal at the
it's
11th
6
hour.
I think it's 6 a.m. for you.
Yeah, it's 6 a.m. my time, right? Cool. Just
If you don't make that your title, you're missing out on an opportunity.
Which
What?
title? What now?
The 11th metal at the 11th hour.
Opportunity gone. But yeah, Kite, I'll see you 10 to 15 minutes
I'll see
before.
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Gray, what you got going on?
Well, I will be going out of town for a minute, but always I hope to have a video dropped before I go, but we'll see. But if not, always check out Charles's channel for showbiz. It's show business. It's usually Mondays, sometimes it's other days, but YouTube at Willis Greedia. And then on Sundays, check out Rosales' show. YouTube / Rosales Comics, or Rosales, if you want to say
you
it
guys
correctly.
are sleeping on Rosales because that dude is funny.
He's hilarious,
He's
right?
the Super Sunday wrap up. The dude is amazing, and he is I don't know, would we call him a polymath? He is a multi-talent who does so many amazing things. But
Polymath?
check out his show, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Bob's also there
every Sunday morning. Yeah, the illustrious Bob with his lovely music is there. A lot of familiar faces from here. So check that out.
Cool.
What all I got going on? What about you, Hydra? You got anything? Or Bimo, you got anything going on?
So for me, I'm still trying to. Well, this is actually tangentially related. I have changed my mind. I don't want 2 jobs. I want to have time. But that's something that we can
Don't.
do. Yeah.
I told you, Bimo, you might want to be more careful with
the reason why I was late today is because I worked for 26
Yep.
hours in one
He's
day.
fucking
Okay.
He was supposed to be asleep. Nobody said he had to come, but okay.
That I felt obligation calling me.
You are being irresponsible.
But
that's my opinion.
the plan is to grab one or a couple of these guys so that they can join me in playing through the Phoenix Wright trilogy.
Hell yes.
I'll eventually try and get that done, but that's the goal.
Hydra?
Definitely not this week.
Yeah.
I am a bit, unfortunately, I'm still working on some stuff. I've acquired a brand new PC. It's absolutely amazing, but I needed to switch out some peripheries due to reasons too. So I still can't move on to my new PC, even though I want to. So that put some things on hold, like the Hollow Knight playthrough and the Elden Ring DLC playthrough, which I would have loved to continue, but can't right now because I need to get the finishing peripheries for my new PC, which, by the way, I already have everything marked down except for a keyboard because I can't find a good enough low profile membrane keyboard that is wired and it's for desktop PC. So as soon as I find something that's good enough feel, etc., and fits those qualities, I'll just acquire that and immediately be back on doing the streams in Discord on Hollow Knight and Elden Ring. So, and even while not having access to all of that and only being able to do stuff on my old laptop, I still stream sometimes the Discord, just other stuff. So be sure to check those out if you're interested. I'll schedule the events.
Sweet, everybody. Thank you again, and don't change your mind about being subscribed to me and to the rest of the
Or-
thinkers.
Yeah, that's one thing you should
Or-
never change your mind about.
Or if you're not subscribed, change your mind now. Now is the sign.
Immediately, yep.
Subscribe to the No Nasty podcast. To subscribe to Will's Credio. Subscribe to Grey Pape. Subscribe to my. Look for the links in the bio.
Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, follow on Twitter and enjoy the outro song, which I suppose Gray would have hated many years ago. I don't know. Here we go.
I think I would have. I would have been
Very
close-minded
anime-esque.
towards it.
Bye, guys.
Anime outro.